So, my dear friends, if I am audible and visible, please give me a thumbs up in the chat box. So, all the technicalities are good. Ram, Pratyush, and all the people who have joined us live today. So, my dear friends, a very, very important part that today we have to cover the 10th to 14th of February 2026 current affairs from examination point of view. So, now, my dear friends, please confirm me if the volume is there and I'm audible and visible to all of you. Okay, so everything is good to go, and we can start with the today's session. So once again, a warm welcome to all of you in the today's current affairs session of the current affairs weekly revision class, which we have started conducting for the RBI Grade B Officer 2026 examination, which is scheduled to be held on 13th of June 2026. And my dear friends, we all know that till now we have covered the important current affairs of March, April, complete month. And when it comes to the month of May, we have covered 1st to 15th of May. And when it comes to the month of February that we are covering right now, we have already covered still 1 to 9th of February. And today is the third class for the February 2026, that is in which we are going to cover the 10th to 14th of February 2026 exam, right? So all the technicalities are good, and I believe that all of you have already covered the previous sessions also. You have revised them, retained them, and solved the MCQs which are required to be answer from examination point of view. Let me tell you that from the examination point of view, in the examination, you will only be getting the MCQs, right? So it is very, very important. If you are someone who is saving the MCQs for the last day, let me tell you that don't do this. This is going to work against you only because from the exam point of view, it is very important to analyze that whether we are able to retain the information from exam point of view or not. And that retention analysis will only be done by solving the MCQs, which we have provided to you on the portal. So, my dear friends, I hope that everybody of you is done with that. Now, let's move on to the today's session. And here you can see that these are the list of topics that we will be covering today. And let's start with the very first news article. The first news article here is on the ex-servicemen re-employment in the Central Civil Services and Post Amendment Rules 2026. So, ex-servicemen Amendment Rules 2026. So, my dear friend, let me give you an example, a very small example. Let's take an example that there is a school, right? So earlier there were re-employment opportunities for the people who have got retired from the school, and these are the people who were the teachers, who were the accountants, right? Who are the healthcare provider in the school. So basically, these different people were always been provided with the re-employment opportunities after the retirement. But you know what? That in that school there was some nurses as well who were working. And you know, there was always a kind of a confusion that whether they will be included in that staff of the school which is available and which is eligible for the re-employment opportunities. And that is why we were not having that clarity. And similar is the case, my dear friends, with the people who are working in the defense forces of the country. Why? Because you know that the people who has got retired from the defense services after serving the institutions of army, navy, air force, they are basically called the ex-servicemen. And my dear friends, let me tell you a very important point that these people are always been considered for the re-employment opportunities. But there was always a kind of clarity and there was always a kind of confusion for the military nursing services because these people were not, you know, thought to be eligible to be the part of these ex-servicemen re-employment benefits. But now Government of India have provided this clarity. Let us discuss this document and this article in a detailed manner to understand more about this article. So the government has notified the ex-servicemen Amendment Rules 2026 under Article 309 of the Constitution. So which article has been considered here? Article 309. The amendment revises the rule to include personnel who have served in any rank, whether combatant or non-combatant, in the regular army, navy, air force, and the military nursing service of the Indian Union after the definition of under the definition of ex-servicemen. So, my dear friends, a clarity has been provided by the government of India that now it is not at all considered that whether the person was in the combatant role or the non-combatant role. So, guys, combatant roles कौन से होते हैं जो हम देखते हैं ना कि basically we always see a lot about this particular part who directly fight on the front, who basically fly the planes, the jet aircraft, the fighter aircraft. So basically, there are two types of the roles in the defense forces. One is the combatant and one is the non-combatant. Non-combatant comes under the, the clerical staff, the administration staff, right? Now here is the military nursing staff who do not fight, but they are really a very important pillar of the defense forces. So that's why we have provided this clarity here that please ensure that the people who are not at all in the combatant role, they are also eligible. And here the confusion was regarding the military nursing services people, and now they are being made eligible for that. The amendment removes the earlier ambiguity regarding eligibility of MNS officers, commissioned officers for the re-employment benefits. Right? Now it explicitly includes the military nursing service alongside the regular Army, Navy, and Air Force. The amendment came into force from which date? 9th of February 2026. So, my dear friends, please tell me what is the name of that service which has been included for the benefits of the re-employment benefits of the ex-servicemen in our country? What will be the right answer? The military nursing service officers. For the commission officers, they have been now made eligible for the re-employment benefits of the ex-servicemen. Clear? And from which date we have seen this amendment has come into force? The amendment has come into force from 9th of February 2026. So, my dear friends, whenever I'm asking the question, I always expect from all of you that you are going to give me the answer in the comment section, right? It should not be like you're just looking at the screen and just listening to me. You have to take some action if you really want that the session is really productive for all of you. So please ensure that whenever I'm asking a question, do ensure to make your fingertips on the keyboard of the session so that whenever I'm asking you the question, you are giving me the answers. Clear? So, under which article of the Constitution we have done this? That is the Article 309 of the Constitution. Absolutely right. Now, moving on to the next news article. The National Task Force was constituted by the Supreme Court of India on 24th March 2025 to address rising student suicides and strengthen the mental health systems in the higher education institutions. My dear friends, so many times we see that there are students who are committing suicides in the higher education institutions. And now this has become a cause of concern for the courts as well, that why exactly it is happening, why the students are having so much of the mental pressure, why exactly they are taking this extreme step of committing a suicide, why they are ending their lives in such a manner while they should have lived a dignified life, but now they are just committing a suicide. They are running away from these problems. Is it only the mental pressure? Is it only the studies? Or there are some other factors also? It can be the discrimination against the students as well. It can be the lack of opportunities as well. It can be the poor counseling services as well, which are being provided by the institutions. It can be the bad behavior of the teachers towards the students as well. So it can be any other thing. So we have to ensure that what exactly is the reason behind this. So that is why the Supreme Court of India created a national task force on 24th March 2025, and they wanted to address the rising student suicides and strengthen the mental health systems in the higher education institutions. In August 2025, it launched five nationwide online surveys which covered students, faculty, members, parents, mental health service providers. So, my dear friends, in order to understand this whole problem at a more deeper level, what they did is that they came up with five surveys, and these five surveys were conducted across the five pillars of the higher education institutions, as it includes the students, the faculty, parents, mental health service providers, and the general public. So, everybody is responsible for this, right? So that is why it was really required to know each one of them. So consultations examined the student stress linked to academic pressure, discrimination, social exclusion, and the institutional shortcomings. So what exactly is the reason behind this that the student took that extreme decision of committing a suicide? We will be getting that out of these findings from these surveys only, right? So Supreme Court assigned the additional task to the NTF, including the development of the model standard operating procedures for periodic well-being audits in the higher education institutions, campus mental health services, and faculty sensitization and training programs. So these are the different areas which are basically impactful, right? So that's why they have included the development of model standard operating procedures for periodic well-being audits, the campus mental health services, and faculty sensitization. So that we are basically training each and every aspect of this ecosystem so that we can stop such kind of incidents which are happening in our education system. The tenure of the NTF has now been extended till 30th June 2026. So अभी इस साल की 30th June तक इसका tenure extend किया गया है. Now, my dear friends, I'm having some questions. I want all of you to give me the answer. Please tell me the name of the force which has been created. by the Supreme Court of India on 24th March 2025 for addressing rising student suicides in our country in the higher education institutions. What is the name of the force? It is the National Task Force, right? And it conducted the five online service across which pillars: students, faculty members, parents, mental health service providers, and the general public. Absolutely right. Now, please tell me the tenure of the NTF has been extended till which date? So, the tenure of the NTF has been extended till 30th of June 2026. Well done, Harshal and Pratyush. Both of you have given me the right answer to this question. Well done. Let's move on to the next part. The CSR expenditure database under the MCA 21 registry. So, my dear friends, you all know that in our country there are companies who basically, do the corporate social responsibility, right? So, the government maintains a central database of the CSR expenditure reported by companies in the MCA 21 registry. Under the Companies Act 2013, CSR is a board-driven process. The board of the company is responsible for planning, deciding, executing, and monitoring the CSR activities. Now, guys, what are these CSR activities? See, the company is having a certain set of profits in the last few financial years. So basically, this company can do something for the society in return, right? And so that is why we have decided that these corporate social responsibility. तो पहले क्या होता था दोस्तों कि कंपनी सिर्फ फंड अलॉट करती थी इस काम के लिए. लेट्स टेक एन एग्जांपल कि एक स्कूल के अंदर हमें एनुअल फंक्शन को एस्टैब्लिश करना था, एनुअल फंक्शन को ऑर्गेनाइज करना था, राइट? एंड द मनी वाज बीइंग कलेक्टेड फ्रॉम सो मेनी एंटाइटीज, राइट? एंड प्रिंसिपल ने भी यहाँ पर मनी कंट्रीब्यूट कर दिया, बट प्रिंसिपल का जो काम है वो सिर्फ मनी अलॉट करने से खत्म नहीं होता. द पर्सन हैज टू आस्क दैट ओके वेयर एग्जैक्टली दैट मनी हैज गॉन. ये जो बिल्स थे इस फंक्शन के किसने पास किए, इस फंक्शन के अंदर क्या क्या एक्टिविटीज हुई, इन फंक्शंस के अंदर क्या जो एक्टिविटीज हुई इसका आउटपुट और आउटकम क्या था, what was the real result, what was the impact of taking this particular function, right? So all these things we have to ensure that we are noting down. So that is why government maintain a central database कि जिस कंपनी ने जितना भी अमाउंट एलोकेट किया you know for this particular annual function, which now you can replace with the corporate social responsibility activities, right? So CSR activity के लिए what was the amount it was being spent, who approved these bills, what was the motto of that particular activity, what actions were being taken, what was the result of that, what was the outcome of that, what impact we have created through the CSR activity. So now it's not just about the allotting the money, but it is also about identifying that how exactly this allotted money is being impactful. So that is the difference we are creating now. Understood, my dear friends? The whole attitude of the CSR has now been changed with this particular part. So the legal mechanism for transparency and accountability includes formation of CSR committee, formation of CSR policy, preparation of annual action plan on the corporate social responsibility, certification of CSR expenditure by the chief financial officer, audit of CSR expenditure by the statutory auditor. So all these things will be created in the organization so that we can keep a proper track and monitor that what exactly has been done in the CSR, right? Additionally, my dear friends, let me tell you that in the school example, I told you that it is the principal who will be asking all these questions to the people, right? Similarly, when there is a company, it is the responsibility of the board of the company. It is the responsibility of the board of the company which is required to take and monitor all these important things related to the corporate social responsibilities. Clear, everyone? So, as per Rule 8 of the Companies Act, Companies Rule 2014, companies with an average CSR obligation of 10 crore or more in the three immediately preceding financial years must undertake impact assessment. So basically, the companies जिन्होंने 10 करोड़ या उससे ज्यादा का अमाउंट पिछले लास्ट के थ्री इमीडिएटली प्रेसिडिंग फाइनेंशियल ईयर्स में दिया है, so they have to ensure that they are undertaking the impact assessment. एक इंडिपेंडेंट एजेंसी से उनको इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट कराना होगा that what was the impact of that CSR activity. Right? The requirement applies to the CSR projects with outlays of 1 crore or more. अब ये जो रिक्वायरमेंट होगी कि किस CSR प्रोजेक्ट पर होगी, इट इज बेसिकली फॉर द CSR प्रोजेक्ट्स with 1 crore or more, right? The project जिसका आउटले 1 करोड़ या उससे ज्यादा का था, उन प्रोजेक्ट्स को उनका हम इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट करेंगे थ्रू एन इंडिपेंडेंट एजेंसी. क्लियर एवरीवन? So companies with an average CSR obligation of 10 crore or more in the last three financial years, they have to undertake the impact assessment through which agency? Independent agency. Now, the annual filings by the companies indicated the expenditure total of rupees 1.4 lakh crores in the last five financial years. So, in the last five financial years, what is the amount? 1.4 lakh crores, which has been set aside for the CSR activities by the companies, according to the government data. Clear everyone? So let's again revise it. So government has maintained a central database of the CSR in the MCA 21 registry and under the Companies Act 2013. So when it comes to this corporate social responsibility, my dear friend, it is a board driven process, right? So board of the company is basically responsible that what will be done, how will be done, how we are going to execute it, how we are going to monitor it. Clear everyone? So basically, Harshal, let me tell you that as per the rules 8 of the company's rules 2014, so वो कंपनी जिनका एवरेज सीएसआर ऑब्लिगेशन जिन्होंने 10 करोड़ या उससे ज्यादा का अमाउंट लास्ट की थ्री फाइनेंशियल ईयर्स में 10 करोड़ या उससे ज्यादा का अमाउंट कॉर्पोरेट सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी के लिए दिया है, राइट? तो उन्हें अपना इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट कराना होगा थ्रू एन इंडिपेंडेंट एजेंसी कि उन्होंने ये जो 10 करोड़ या उससे ज्यादा का अमाउंट है, ये कितना इम्पैक्टफुल था, क्या एक्टिविटीज हुई, उसका इम्पैक्ट क्या हुआ। तो एक इंडिपेंडेंट एजेंसी को आउटसोर्स किया जाएगा ये काम एंड दे विल बी कंडक्टिंग द असेसमेंट ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर होल एक्टिविटी, राइट? नाउ एडिशनली कौन से सीएसआर प्रोजेक्ट्स इसमें होंगे? लेट्स टेक एन एग्जांपल दैट कंपनी के काफी सारे प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं। देयर वाज अ प्रोजेक्ट which cost was 75 lakh rupees. There was a project whose cost was 1.2 crore rupees. So basically the project whose cost is more than 1 crore rupees or 1 crore rupees, तो उनका हम ये असेसमेंट कराएंगे। क्लियर? तो जो रिक्वायरमेंट थी इम्पैक्ट असेसमेंट की, इट इज नॉट जस्ट बेसिकली ऑन दिस की 10 करोड़ और मोर, इट इज बेसिकली ऑन दोज प्रोजेक्ट्स विच हैव द outlay of more than 1 crore or equal to 1 crore. Are you able to understand it now? Understood? Okay. So now let's try to go to the Drishyam round PDF and let's try to answer the questions here. Okay. So let me switch on the annotations. Aruka is ready to give me the answers in the chat box. So I believe that everybody of you is ready. Now the first question is on the ex-servicemen re-employment in Central Civil Services and Force Amendment Rules 2026. This is under which article of the Constitution? The rules have been notified. Article number 309 of the Constitution. Clear? Now let's move on to the next part. The amendment revises the rule to include the personnel who have served in which rank, my dear friends? In any of the rank. In any of the rank, whether the combatant or the non-combatant. Right? Under the definition of ex-servicemen, who are the people who are coming under the definition of ex-servicemen, they are basically eligible here. The amendment removes the earlier ambiguity regarding the eligibility of which service officers? Military nursing service officers. Absolutely right. The definition of ex-serviceman now explicitly includes the dash alongside the regular Army, Navy, and Air Force. The definition of ex-serviceman now explicitly includes the military nursing service officers. Clear? The amendment came into force from 9th February 2026. That is the right answer. So that's all from this part. Let's move on to the next news article. The National Task Force was constituted by which organization on 24th March 2025? That is Supreme Court of India. Right? The tenure of the NTF has been extended till 30th June 2026. That is the right answer. Now coming to the CSR expenditure. So under the dash, CSR is a board-driven process. So under the Companies Act 2013, right? It is a board-driven process. There will be a formulation of CSR committee, CSR policy, preparation of annual plan on the CSR, right? As per the rule dash of the company CSR, so rule of the section 8 was there, right? Of the company's rules 2014. Companies with an average CSR obligation of 10 crore or more in the last three immediately preceding financial years, they must undertake impact assessment through an independent agency. Done? The requirement applies to CSR projects with outlays of rupees 1 crore or more. That's all, my dear friends. And what is the total amount that we have done? That which has been kept aside by the company, that was 1.44 lakh crores from 2019-20 to 2023-24. So Harshal, Pratyush, Ram, and all the people who have answered me the right correctly in the chat box, that's really great, my dear friends. I really appreciate your hard work and effort. Let's move on to the next news article now, that is the White Revolution 2.0. So, my dear friends, when it comes to the White Revolution 2.0, earlier White Revolution, when it was being launched, it was basically for increasing the milk production in our country, right? White Revolution directly related to the milk, right? But this time, it's not just that we are focusing on the milk production. So, we also want to expand the area under the milk producing cooperatives. Additionally, we want to penetrate their impact and their deepening in the societies, right? How we will be doing that? I will be telling you by discussing this whole article. The Ministry of Corporation has launched the White Revolution 2.0. So, my different White Revolution, just please ensure that White Revolution is directly related to the milk, right? It was launched in which year? 2024, to expand cooperative coverage, generate employment and promote women's empowerment. So basically हमें सिर्फ प्रोडक्शन को इंक्रीज नहीं करना, हमें कॉपरेटिव्स की कवरेजेस को बढ़ाना है, जनरेट करनी है एम्प्लॉयमेंट. वी वांट टू प्रमोट women's empowerment here in this particular sector, right? So how we will be expanding the cooperatives coverage is what exactly these cooperatives do. So these cooperatives basically collect the milk. Let's take an example that there is a village and there are so many milk vendors there, right? But these milk vendors are not having the proper facilities, right? They are not having the proper chilling facilities. They are not having the proper testing facilities. So what happens? That they are basically they are forced to sell their milk produces at a very low prices. Either it is been sold on the low prices or it is being wasted away, right? But now when we are connecting them with a cooperative. Now, what cooperative will do? Cooperatives will be having the proper storing facility, chilling facility, and the testing services. So, what they will be doing? They will be collecting the milk from these different milk vendors, and then this milk will be tested. It will be stored. It will be chilled, and it will be sent to the market for the better market accessibility. Now, what will happen? These people who were earlier supposed to sell their milk produces at a very low price or it was wasted away. Now what will happen? Now these people will be having the good amount of income because now their milk is basically reaching the market and at a very good price. So that is what we are targeting under the White Revolution 2.0. Clear? The objective is to increase the milk procurement of the dairy cooperatives by 50% from the present level over the next 5 years by providing market access to the dairy farmers in uncovered areas. So the areas which are uncovered by the cooperatives, we want to expand the coverage of the cooperatives by, enrolling the milk vendors under them. So we will be increasing the milk procurement by 50% from the present level in the upcoming 5 years. And that's how we will be providing more market access and increase the share of dairy cooperatives in the organized sector. Clear? By 2020-29, the milk procurement by the dairy cooperatives is expected to reach 1,007 lakhs kg per day. You can see here, my dear friends, that the dairy cooperatives ke through the milk procurement hai, we want to expand it to reach 1,007 lakh per kg. Sorry, 1,007 lakh kg per day by 2020-29. That is the target. So please note this down. That is very important. Now, how this target will be achieved? The target will be achieved through the two strategies. The one is the expanding the coverage and other one is deepening the reach of dairy cooperatives. Clear? पहले हम cooperatives का area expand करेंगे, then we will deepen the reach of the dairy cooperatives to, connect with more and more farmers and so that we can provide them more market accessibility. Clear, everyone? To address the malnutrition, the initiative includes setting up and strengthening around 1,20,000 new existing dairy cooperative societies, multi-purpose DCs, multi-purpose primary agriculture credit societies. So, my dear friends, we will be setting up and strengthening around 1,20,000 new existing cooperative societies. तो जो नई existing cooperative societies हैं उनको सेटअप करेंगे, मल्टीपर्पस dairy cooperative societies, and multi-purpose primary agriculture credit societies. Right? Linking cooperatives with the milk routes through extension of the existing routes or creation of the new milk routes, providing infrastructure such as automatic milk collection units, data processing milk collection units, testing equipments, bulk milk coolers as required. So to address the malnutrition also, the initiative will include all these different steps. So with the white revolution, we are not just working on the income of the farmers or the people who are involved in the milk producing activities. We are also working on decreasing the malnutrition cases in our country. By how we will be doing that, we will be linking more cooperatives with the new milk routes. We will be setting up new milk routes. We will be setting up new dairy cooperative societies. We will be providing infrastructure of the automatic milk collection, data processing milk collection units, testing equipments. The activities under the White Revolution 2.0 are funded under the National Dairy Development Program of the Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying. So basically White Revolution 2 जो है उसकी फंडिंग कहाँ से मिलेगी माय डियर फ्रेंड्स इट विल बी फ्रॉम द एनपीडीडी नेशनल डेयरी डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम क्लियर National Dairy Development Program 2.0, which is under the Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying under the Government of India. I hope that this particular article is clear to everyone. Now let's try to answer the questions which are here now. White Revolution 2.0. So my dear friends, I hope that this is clear. Now please try to answer me these questions. Please tell me the name of the ministry which has launched the White Revolution 2.0. It was launched by Ministry of Cooperation. In which year 2024 to expand the cooperative coverage. The objective is to increase the milk procurement of daily cooperatives by what percentage? By 50% from the present level. Over the next how many years? In the next 5 years, we are going to do this. By dash, that is the 28-29, the milk procurement by the dairy cooperatives is expected to reach 1,007 lakhs kg per day. Right? Now, to address the malnutrition, the initiative will include setting up and strengthening around how many new or existing dairy cooperatives? That is 1200. 1200 new existing dairy cooperatives. Providing infrastructure such as dash, data processing milk collection units, to automatic milk collection, data processing milk collection units, testing equipments will be provided under this particular part. Activities under the White Revolution 2.0 are funded under which program? National Dairy Development Program 2.0, which is under which department? Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying. That is the right answer. Clear, everyone? So it was not the 1200, it was 1,20,000, my dear friends. Sorry, please pardon me. It is not the 1200, it is the 1,20,000. 1,20,000 new existing dairy cooperatives will be there. Clear? So this is the correction. Thank you, Harshal. You have given me the right answer for this 1,20,000. Absolutely right. So my dear friends, I believe that till now everything is clear to all of you. Right? Now let's move on to the next news article. So we all know that in our country, whenever you want to go outside, let's take an example, you have planned to watch a movie, right? After the RBI Grade B officer examination. A good movie is coming and you have planned to watch that particular movie, right? But when you are going outside, you identified that, okay, so you are not having any vehicle at your home and neither your friend is having the vehicle. But your friend has come to your house. Now, what you do? You basically book a cab for you and your friend, right? So this cab can be done from different ride-hailing apps in our country like Ola, Uber, Rapido, or InDriver, right, my dear friends? So when you book the cab from these Ola, Uber, Rapido, InDriver, what happens is that these drivers who are running these taxis, right, under these private apps, so they are basically involved in the different apps, right? And what is the requirement of them to be on the different apps? Because they are not having much of the income protection there. Why? Because lot of commission is directly going to the apps only, and the drivers are able to earn less amount of money as compared to because the commission was really high to these particular apps, right? So that is something problematic for these drivers. So by considering this, Government of India thought that see we have to come up with the new change here. Now, what is the change that we are bringing? Let us take an example that we are just creating a cooperative society, right? Cooperative society of the drivers. Now these drivers are coming together and they came up with the new initiative of Bharat Taxi. They came up with the Bharat Taxi brand. Now what is there? So the commission, which was earlier, the heavy commission, which was earlier going to these ride-hailing apps like Ola, Uber, Rapido, driver. Now in the Bharat Taxi, this is not the scenario. And these people are also ensuring that under the Bharat Taxi, we are also providing the social security to these drivers, income protection to the drivers, right? So that's where the Bharat Taxi was launched. And my dear friends, the Ministry of Corporation, as we're talking about the cooperatives, so Ministry of Corporation has launched the Bharat Taxi as a cooperative-led ride-hailing platform at strengthening the cooperative sector and promoting inclusive mobility under the vision of Sahakar से समृद्धि. तो सहकार से समृद्धि के अंदर दोस्तों हमने क्या किया? हमने cooperative sector को strengthen किया by basically including more and more drivers under the Bharat Taxi. Which ministry has done this? Ministry of Cooperation. Now you must be having this particular question that कि सर ये सहकार से समृद्धि क्या है? What is the सहकार से समृद्धि? Right? Let's take an example, my dear friend. There are so many people who are preparing for the RBI Grade B officer exam, right? But you know what was happening that one person was not because you know that before the existence of the chapters, so you must have seen that there are so many institutions who are providing you the guidance and the mentorship for the examination of RBI. But the services are quite very high, right? And alone you are not able to, make the most out of it from these institutions because you are not able to purchase their expensive plans, right? So what was happening is you end up losing another attempt, right? So instead to solve the problem, let's take an example. The chapter is still not there. So what the people did is there are five, six people who just created a small group. The five, six people just created a small group, right? And they contributed some amount so that they can purchase the course. Clear everyone? And all of them are taking the benefit of that particular course together, right? So this is what we call सहकार मतलब सबको मिलजुल कर काम करना and समृद्धि का मतलब है prosperity, growth. So now all these five people are able to attain the education and now all of them are able to clear the examination. So this is what we call the सहकार से समृद्धि. So what happens is that the people in our society they come together to create a society. This society, this cooperative society basically is having the motto of supporting the people, right? And so that and for this what they do is they basically came up with the new initiatives in the different sectors to support each other. Clear everyone, it can be related to the health infrastructure as well. Let's take an example. There is a place where there are only private hospitals which are very expensive. So these 100 people come together and they contributed and they decided to launch a diagnostic center, a public health center, right? So these people are contributing together for providing the salaries of these, doctors who are working there, right? Understanding the point? So collectively, what we are doing is we are serving each other with the help of creating the society. That's what we call the Sahakar Se Samriddhi. Are you guys able to understand it? If yes, please give me a thumbs up in the chat box that yes, we are able to understand it. So Sahakar Se Samriddhi is done. So Bharat Taxi is registered under the Multi-State Cooperative Societies Act 2002. And let me tell you that eight cooperative societies came together for the creation of the Bharat Taxi. It was established on 6th of June 2025 by 8 national level cooperative institutions. And under this, we follow a zero commission model, my dear friends. Earlier in the Ola, Uber, Rapido, in driver, what was happening is we need to pay the commission to the application. But here now what we have done, we have followed a zero commission model with direct distribution of profits to the drivers. The drivers are called Sarathi, the one who drives and takes you from one place to the another is called Sarathi. So basically, we are paying the profits to the drivers, right? Under this ride hailing initiative that is Bharat Taxi, which offers an alternative to the aggregated driver models. Currently, it is functional in Delhi NCR, Delhi, Gurgaon, Noida, Ahmedabad, Rajkot, Somnath, and Dwarka. So these are the places where exactly these Bharat Taxi brands are presently functional, and there are no convenience fees or platform fees or commissions are collected from the riders or the drivers through the app. सो इस ऐप के थ्रू दोस्तों किसी से कोई कन्वीनियंस फी कोई प्लेटफॉर्म फी नहीं ली जाती. बट हाँ, एक चीज इंपॉर्टेंट है. फॉर द ऑपरेशनल needs of this particular Bharat taxi, so 7% of service charge is applied at the airport prepaid booths. So there are some prepaid booths at the airport. There they are basically been required to pay 7% service charge, which is operated by Bharat Taxi to cover the operational expenses. So अपने operational expenses के लिए, so they are required to pay 7% of the service charge. That's all, and that too on the airport prepaid booths only. Clear, everyone? So additionally to this, as there is a zero commission, there are more benefits to these drivers. We are generating the profits, we are distributing profits to them. So now we are also going to provide health insurance, accident insurance, and the retirement savings for the drivers. Dedicated driver support system is there, emergency assistance is there. We are now not just working on the safe rides, but we are also working on the safety of the drivers. Drivers are allowed to work on the other platforms without exclusivity restrictions. Now, what exactly this says that the Uber says that okay, if you are running a car with our app, so basically you have to ensure that you are not running it on the other app also, right? So basically, there is no exclusivity restriction such kind of this in the Bharat Taxi. Even you are having the Bharat Taxi app and you can also ride the Ola, Uber and Rapido as well. The Women Empowerment Initiative is Bike Didi with over 150 women drivers already onboarded. So my dear friend, there is an initiative of Bike Didi also. So there is an initiative of Bike Didi also with which we are basically ensuring that the women drivers are also there. Clear, everyone? So that's all from this particular article. Now let's try to answer these questions. So Dash is India's first cooperative-led ride-hailing app. What is the right answer? It is Bharat Taxi is the right answer. Which ministry has come up with this initiative? Ministry of Cooperation. Launched Bharat Taxi. Bharat Taxi is registered under the Dash and was established on 6 June 2025 by total 8 multi-state, the 8 national level cooperative institutions. Clear, everyone? This is under the multi-state cooperative of 2002. The platform follows a dash commission, a zero commission model with a direct distribution of profits to drivers or Sarthis. Now, what is the one charge that is there? That is the 7% of the service charge which is applied to the airport at airport prepaid booths operated by Bharat Taxi to cover operational expenses. So, my dear future officers, I hope that you guys are able to understand, solve, and cover all the important information from examination point of view with this. Clear, everyone? Okay, now let's move on to the next article. The status of PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan and related state capital assistance. So, my dear friends, in order to explain you this article, I am having a very classical example here. Let's take an example that there is a particular area, right? And okay, so in our particular district, we are having a separate department. There is a department of the road, department of highway, department of port, department of airport, right? So let's take an example. There is a railway station, right? Then we are having a airport as well. We are having a port as well. And now we are having the roads as well. Now let's take an example. When it comes to the roads are basically like this. Roads are basically like this, right? But no road is connecting to the railway station, no road is connecting to the port, no road is connecting to the airport. So will any person will be able to make the most out of these three services? Answer is no. Even they won't be able to make the most out of these roads because the connection between them is not there, right? And when it comes to the railways, so what happens is that the cargo that we receive at the at the ports, now we want to transport it from one place to the another, and now there is no linkage between the port and the railway station. So through the railways also we transfer the cargoes, right? So now what we have basically received at the international port, right? Now we are not able to even transfer it to the railway stations, right? Or to the railways. Why? Because there was no connectivity among them. Clear? And similarly, we were not able to send it to the airport. Now let's take an example that you were traveling from one place to the another, and you came to the railway station, and now you have to board the flight. Let's take an example. You are going from Delhi to Canada, right? And you are coming to the New Delhi railway station, and there is no connectivity between the New Delhi railway station and the Indira Gandhi International Airport. So, what is the point of coming to this railway station? There is no point. So basically, my dear friends, what was happening earlier is there was a development which was taking place, but this development was, not in a planned way, because every department has done their own work, but they are not cooperating with each other. They are not basically planning together to ensure that we are having the proper linkage of the services through all these services, different services that we are providing. And that's where the PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan was being launched. In the PM Gati Shakti, so the government decided that, see, we are not just required to ensure that we are doing the work, we have to do the work in a planned manner. And we are not going to do this planning after the problem has arisen. No, we will be working on them in the planning stage itself. When we are setting up the railway station, when we are installing a port, when we are installing a airport in a particular area, what we are going to do? We have to ensure that there is a proper linkage with that airport so that the people can go to that airport to board the flights, right? So that is why government of India decided that all these different departments, ministries, they will be working together. And you know what? Whatever plan they will be making, this plan will be monitored by the National Planning Group. So we set up a National Planning Group, a separate entity to monitor these things. So my dear friends, PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan was launched in October 2021 as a transformative approach for infrastructure planning and development. तो प्रॉपर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्लानिंग और डेवलपमेंट के लिए हमने इस अप्रोच को लॉन्च किया. So network planning group was constituted under the PMGS NNP. It evaluates the critical infrastructure projects at the central government at the planning stage. तो प्लानिंग स्टेज पर ही ये इवेल्युएट करेगा सभी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्रोजेक्ट्स को, so that we can ensure integrated planning, we can ensure multimodality and intermodality, synchronization of efforts, last mile connectivity, comprehensive area development, and data driven decision making. Clear, everyone? Are you guys getting it? Are you people able to understand that what was the requirement of this PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan? It was basically to ensure integrated planning of the different departments of the country and the different ministries of the country. On the date, 352 infrastructure projects with a total estimated cost of 16.10 lakh crores have been evaluated through the NPG mechanism. So, as on date, 352 infrastructure projects with a total estimated cost of 16.10 lakh crores. My dear friends, please pay attention here. With a total estimated cost of 16.1 lakh crores have been evaluated. And under the part 2 of this particular PM Gati Shakti related expenditure of the scheme for special assistance to the states for capital investment, the Ministry of Finance has provided the amount of 5,000 crores. So, as the special assistance, Ministry of Finance has provided to Department of Expenditure 5,000 crore rupees. And this amount will be dispersed among the states as a 50-year interest rate plan. So, एक 50 साल का interest free loan हम provide करेंगे to the different states for the infrastructure development. Monitoring of implementation of ongoing central sector projects includes the infrastructure projects planned and evaluated under the PM Gati Shakti framework, costing 150 crore and more and carried out by the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. अभी जो monitoring है ना implementation की of the ongoing central sector projects, this will include the infrastructure projects which are planned and evaluated. वो प्रोजेक्ट्स इनको प्लान किया गया है और इवेल्युएट किया गया है पीएम गति शक्ति फ्रेमवर्क के अंदर, और उसका मिनिमम कॉस्ट कितना होगा 150 करोड़ और उससे ज्यादा. And this will be carried out by Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. Clear, everyone? Are you guys able to understand it? So these technical details are there which we need to retain from examination point of view. For example, the 5,000 crore rupees given for 50-year interest-free loans. 352 infrastructure projects have been evaluated till now, having the cost of 16.1 lakh crores. Clear? We are having the PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan, which was launched in October 2021 as a transformative approach for infrastructure planning and development. So, are you guys now ready for giving me the answers in the chat box? Let's start. So, PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan was launched in October, which year? 2021, as a transformative approach. Now, under this, NPG was being constituted. What exactly NPG stands for? It is a national planning group. It is a network planning group, my dear friends, right? Network planning group, absolutely right. Under the part 2 of the PM Gati Shakti, which ministry has basically given a funding to the Department of Expenditure? Ministry of Finance. And what is the amount? Rupees 5,000 crore rupees. Right? This will be a 50-year interest-free loans. And now please tell me in the chat box that what is the minimum cost of a project to be monitored under this particular part. What is the right answer? So my dear friends, what is the right answer? The right answer here will be rupees 150 crores. Absolutely right. So Pratyush and Harshal, both of you are just rocking in this session. And I think that the remaining people are just sleeping during the class, right? They are just watching the session and enjoying the session, right? Okay, that's also good that they are enjoying it. Now, my dear friends, we are done with the very, very important initiatives from the today's class. Now let's move on to the next news article. So the major digital agricultural initiatives. So the government has reviewed outcomes of the key digital agricultural initiatives undertaken or continued during the 2025. So the government has reviewed outcomes of key digital agricultural initiatives. My dear friends, you all know that in our country we have come up with so many digital agricultural initiatives for making the life of the farmers more easy, providing them more and more facilities, more and more grievance redressal, more and more support so that we can provide the income protection and we can provide the better services and forecasting facilities to these farmers of the country. And one of that initiative is the AgriStack, which we have already discussed in the previous sessions. It is a digital public infrastructure which consists of three registries. That is Farmer Registry, Geo-reference Village Map, and the Crop Zone Registry. So, my dear friends, let's take an example that there are students in my class, right? And all these students are having a different level. Some has covered the current affair article of March, some has not covered the article of April, some have covered it only for the month of May. So basically, the requirement of these three people are different, right? So now I have to ensure that I am providing the right approach, right strategy, right information at the right time to the right people so that we can ensure that their preparations are at a really good place. Similarly, there are different types of farmers who are living in the different parts of the country, and we have to ensure that we are providing the right solution to the right farmer at the right time, right? So it creates a single source of truth for the farmer identity, lands, and crops. So that is why it is very important that we are having the proper identity of the farmer that has been provided under AgriStack, in which we see the farmer ID is being provided to the farmers, enabling integration of the direct benefit transfer schemes such as PM Kisan, Fasal Bima Yojana, MSP based procurement, and so many things. Now, there is a digital crop survey which provides the plot level crop visibility and supports evidence based planning. Let me tell you guys in this article now, basically different digital initiatives that we have taken in the agriculture sector of the country, they are being discussed, right? In a very precise manner, in a very, summarized manner, as per the requirement of the news article which has been covered here. What is the digital crop survey which will be providing plot level crop visibility? Then we are having Krishi Decision Support System, a GIS-based geospatial platform which integrates satellite imagery, weather, soil, and crop data. And we have Kisan e-Mitra, a voice-based AI chatbot for the PM Kisan queries. Whatever the queries the people are having related to the Pradhan Mantri Kisan scheme. So basically, you can see that the Kisan e-Mitra initiative is there to resolve all their issues. It supports 11 regional languages. Now we are having the National Pest Surveillance System. So what exactly is the amount of pesticides which are being required? Why these pests are coming? How exactly we can resolve this issue? Why to focus on this issue? So all these things we will be providing under the National Pest Surveillance System. It is be used by over 10,000 extension workers, support 65 crops and 400 pests. Then comes, my dear friends, Namo Drone Didi scheme. So Namo Drone Didi. So here we are basically, empowering the women self-help groups by providing them by making them becoming the drone service providers with an outlay of 1,261 crores for the time period of 2023-24 to 25-26. Central sector scheme has been approved to provide 15,000 drones to the women self-help group with an outlay of 1,261 crores for 2023-24 to 25-26. Clear? The objective is very simple. We want to promote advanced agricultural technology improve efficiency and crop yield, reduce operational costs, and empower self-help group as a drone service provider. So that's why we came up with this initiative. 500 crores has been dispersed by the lead fertilizer companies to these women self-help groups. Seed authenticity and traceability and holistical inventory. My dear friends, Sathi platform we already discussed, right? Because seeds are one of the very, very important things when it comes to the crops. If the seeds are not of the good quality, if we are having the fake seeds, then again it is going to be problematic for the people, right? For the farmers. So that's why digital platform for seed production is there. Quality certification is there, distribution and traceability across India. So these are the different initiatives which have been taken by the government of India in terms of digitizing agricultural facilities. Right? What are these initiatives? AgriStack, Digital Crop Survey, Krishi Decision Support System, Kisan E-Mitra, National Pest Surveillance System, Namo Drone Didi, and then we have seed of authenticity, traceability and holistic inventory, साथी पोर्टल. साथी को तो हमने लास्ट सेशन में कवर किया है दोस्तों, राइट? जहां पर हमने कवर किया था कि जैसे आप अमेजोन से कुछ ऑर्डर करते हैं, देन यू आर हैविंग द क्यूरियोसिटी दैट वेयर एग्जैक्टली इट हैज reached, right? And whether it has been coming from the that seller only from which I want this product. So basically same is the साथी पोर्टल जहां पर हम सीड की ऑथेंटिसिटी को ट्रेस करते हैं. सीड कहाँ से निकला, कहाँ पहुंचा, कहाँ गया, टाइम पे पहुंचा है नहीं, वो टेम्पर्ड प्रूफ है या नहीं, ओरिजिनल है या नहीं, कोई फेक सीड तो नहीं पकड़ा दिया गया. तो बेसिकली दीज आर थिंग्स अंडर द साथी, सीड ऑथेंटिसिटी, ट्रेसेबिलिटी एंड होलिस्टिक इन्वेंटरी. Clear? Let's move on to the next news article. The budget allocation for rural and agricultural sectors in fiscal year 25-26. So, my dear friends, budget allocation for rural and agriculture sector. So, government of India is really working in the rural and the agriculture sectors, and that is why we have come up with the good amount of allocations this year. When it comes to the Minister of Rural Development, it has been allocated 1.9 lakh crores for the rural sector. And when it comes for the agriculture, then 1.37 lakh crore is there for the agriculture part. एंड फ्रॉम द लास्ट अगर आप देखेंगे इस साल का जो बजट है उसका टोटल एलोकेशन का कितना परसेंट एग्रीकल्चर को गया, दैट इज द 2.71%. क्लियर एवरीवन? So my dear friends, see, the people who are preparing for the NABARD examination, this part is very, very important. What is the allocation to the rural development and what is the allocation to agriculture development in our country? And this year, what that this was how much percentage of the total union budget. So we have covered all these areas from examination point of view, right? And for the RBI people also, sometimes these allocations are being asked in the exam. So please, we have to ensure that we are remembering this properly from exam point of view. Clear, everyone? If this is clear to everyone, please give me a thumbs up in the chat box that yes, this is clear. So Pratyush, Shreya, Harshal, everybody saying that yes, it's clear. Now let's move on to the next news article now. My dear friend, this article is very, very important from examination point of view. So we have already discussed the importance of the cooperatives, what the cooperatives are, and how they are being run, what is their importance. We have covered all these three areas in the previous articles, right? Now again, we are focusing upon the cooperatives. Now these cooperatives also need loans, right? These cooperatives also need loans. And you know that in our country, there were so many sectors in our country which were not able to get the proper credit from the banking institutions. And that's why Reserve Bank of India came up with a solution that was called PSL. Can anybody tell me what is the full form of PSL? So there are so many sectors of the country which were, not having that much amount of money, and they also cannot provide that much of the guarantee that will be able to repay the loan. So that is the reason that banks were basically, quite hesitant in providing them the credits. But Reserve Bank of India came up with the initiative of the priority sector lending. Clear, everyone? And every bank is required to ensure that they have to meet the requirements of the PSL lending, the target that have been given to them every year, right? The Reserve Bank of India has now taken a very big step now. Why? What this is all about, my dear friends? See, there were so many banks which were not able to, meet up the priority sector lending targets, right? And also these banks are not able to pay directly to the cooperatives. अगर आप देखेंगे regional rural banks, urban cooperative banks, so they basically credit a lot to the cooperatives, right? But these big banks, they were not able to do that. So RBI said that, okay, don't worry about it. You are not able to do both the things, but still don't worry. See, you know that for the cooperatives, Ministry of Cooperation has created a National Cooperative Development Corporation. What you can do, banks, you can give the money to the NCDC, as this NCDC is already providing the money to the cooperatives. So now the directly money is not going from the bank to the cooperatives, but it will be going through the NCDC now to the cooperatives. So what will happen? We will be able to give the more and more credit to these cooperatives, and we will be able to achieve our targets. Now, RBI says that, see, as earlier you were not able to fulfill the requirement of the PSL targets, right? So whatever the amount you will be giving to the NCDC for crediting the cooperative societies in our country, so we will be including that amount in your priority sector lending also. Clear, everyone? So that's what the Reserve Bank of India has done now. Are you guys able to understand the concept before we move on to the article? Because understanding of this concept is very important before moving on to the article, right? So I can see that yes, everybody of you is able to understand it. That's good. So let's move on to the article now. The Reserve Bank of India, in consultation with the Government of India, has announced that loans sanctioned by the banks to the NCDC from 19th January 2026 onwards will be eligible for classification as priority sector lending. So basically 19 जनवरी 2026 onwards बैंक कोई लोन अगर एनसीडीसी को देता है and that amount NCDC is transferring to the cooperatives, then that particular amount of money can be calculated and classified as a priority sector lending. The provision applies to the banks other than regional rural banks, urban cooperative banks, small finance banks, and the local area banks. तो इन बैंक्स के अलावा जो बैंक बचते हैं उन पर ही ये अप्लाई होगा, आरआरबीज पर अप्लाई नहीं होगा, अर्बन कोऑपरेटिव बैंक्स पर नहीं होगा, स्मॉल फाइनेंस बैंक्स पर नहीं होगा, लोकल एरिया बैंक्स पर नहीं होगा. क्लियर? The loans must be for purposes and activities specified under the Master Direction on Priority Sector Lending 2025. So, my dear friends, when we talk about these loans, the loans must be for the purposes and activities which are specified under the Master Direction on Priority Sector Lending 2025. You all know that last year, the Reserve Bank of India basically, updated the Master Directions on the Priority Sector Lending, right? So, whatever the activities which are specified there, only these activities will be, considered under these loans. Now, what is NCDC? NCDC is a statutory corporation under the administration control of Ministry of Cooperation, which provides financial assistance to cooperatives to promote the cooperative movement. My dear friends, I already told you about the cooperatives. So, when there will be lot of cooperatives are there and they are working for some good part of the society, so these will be called the cooperative movement, right? So, we are providing the money from the NCDC to the cooperatives in our country. Clear? Now, the measures taken by the Government of India and RBI to strengthen the cooperative banks include urban cooperative banks permitted to the open new branches, right? So there will be urban cooperative banks that permitted to open new branches. So urban cooperative banks को allow किया कि आप नए branches open कर सकते हैं. तो housing loan limits थी for the urban cooperative banks उसको improve किया, increase किया from 10% to 25% of the total loan. There is an amendment to the Banking Regulation Act where we have changed the tenure of the director of the cooperative bank from 8 years to 10 years. So all of the long term यहाँ पर director will be able to serve and he will be having the better timeline to focus on the projects under this part. Then reduction in the licensing fee for cooperative banks. So when the cooperative bank is onboarding to the Aadhaar enabled payment system, so their license fee has been reduced now. Establishment of National Urban Cooperative Finance and Development Corporation Limited as a non-deposit taking NBFC and umbrella organization for urban cooperative banks to provide IT infrastructure and operational support. So, my dear friends, there is the establishment of National Urban Cooperative Finance and Development Corporation. ये एक नॉन डिपॉजिट टेकिंग एनबीएफसी है which provides IT infrastructure and operational support to the urban cooperative banks. You all know that urban cooperative banks में the IT infrastructure is not that good there. If you are receiving the money in your account, it will be reflected, in after a long time. So basically to provide more strengthening to the IT infrastructure and to ensure that yes, they are getting it. So basically we are having now the NUCFDC, National Urban Cooperative Finance and Development Corporation. Clear everyone, the inclusion of rural cooperative banks is there under the RBI's integrated ombudsman scheme. You all know RBI integrated ombudsman scheme was launched this year, right? So we have now included the rural cooperative banks there also. Earlier they were not the part. Then the DICGC guys we have already covered in a detailed manner in the last session. So 5 lakh per depositor per bank, they're providing the insurance to the depositors in the banks, right? For all the cooperative banks also, this has also been made possible. Clear everyone? I hope that these details are quite clear to everyone. So to provide more and more betterment and support to the cooperatives of the country, RBI in consultation with the government of India has made all these changes. Clear? So are you guys able to answer the question now that I will be asking? Okay, so before that, let's again revise it. So NCDC is there, my dear friends, launched by the Ministry of Corporation. The loans to the NCDC will be now from 19th January 2026 will be considered under the will be classified as a PSL, right? It will be applicable to banks other than RRBs, UCBs, SFBs, and local area banks. Loan must be for the purpose and activity specified under the Master Direction PSL 2025. And what are the different measures taken? UCBs are now allowed to open new branches. Housing loan limits for UCBs has now increased from 10% to 25%. Amendment to the Banking Regulation Act, in which we have increased the director's tenure from 8 years to 10 years. Reduction in the licensing fee for cooperative banks, onboarding to Aadhaar-enabled payment systems. Establishment of National Urban Cooperative Finance and Development Corporation as a non-deposit taking NBFC and umbrella organization for UCBs to provide IT infrastructure. So all these different things are being launched by the launch in order to enhance and better the cooperative movement in our country. Right, my dear friends? Now let's try to answer these questions. So here let's start with the first major digital agricultural initiatives, right? So please tell me the name of the initiative, which is a digital public infrastructure consisting of three registries. So what exactly it is the right answer, my dear friends? AgriStack. AgriStack is the right answer. Absolutely right. Which will include the farmer registry, geo-reference, village maps, right? Then what is the DCS, my dear friends? It is a Krishi Decision Support System which provides, sorry, this was the digital crop survey, right? Which provides plot level crop visibility and supports evidence based planning. Absolutely right. Then what is the name of the system, which is a GIS based geospatial platform integrating satellite imagery, weather, soil, and crop data for agricultural planning and target advisories? Let me see who will give me the right answer. What is the name of that system? It is the Krishi Decision Support System. Absolutely right. Then the Kisan Dash, a voice-based AI powered chatbot for PM Kisan query. That is the Kisan e-Mitra. That is the right answer. Now, Namo Drone Didi scheme is a dash scheme approved to provide dash tools to the women self-help groups with an outlay of 1,261 crore. What is the right answer? It is a. So what is the right answer, my dear friends? Absolutely right. It is a central sector scheme approved to provide 15,000 drones to the women self-help groups. Now, Dash is a digital platform for seed production, quality, certification, and distribution facility across India. That is the Sathi platform. Sathi is the right answer. Done with this, let's move on to the next news article now. So RBI has allowed the bank loans to NCDC for on lending to cooperatives. RBI has, in consultation with the government of India, has announced that loans sanctioned by the banks to the Dash from 19 January, sanctioned by banks to the NCDC 19 January 2026 onwards will be eligible for classification as priority sector lending. Absolutely right. The provision applies to the banks other than the regional rural banks, urban cooperative banks, small finance banks, and the local area banks. The loans must be for purposes and activities specified under the Master Direction on PSL 2025. NCDC is a statutory corporation under the administrative control of the Ministry of Cooperation and provides the financial assistance to cooperatives to promote the of cooperative movement. Then, my dear friends, we are having the different measures. So, the urban cooperative banks has been now permitted to dash branches to open the new branches, right? The housing loan limits for the urban cooperative banks has been increased from 10% to what percentage? 25%. Absolutely right. Amendment to the Banking Regulation Act increasing the director's tenure in the cooperative banks from 8 years to how many years? 10 years is the new tenure. Reduction the licensing fee cooperative banks onboarding to licensing fees. My dear friends, reduce की गई है for the cooperative banks which are onboarding to what Aadhaar enabled payment system. Absolutely right. Establishment of the National Urban Cooperative Finance and Development Corporation Limited as a non-deposit taking NBFC and the umbrella organization for UCBs for IT infrastructure. Now, establishment of the shared service entity. What is the name of this entity to provide the technological services to the rural cooperative societies? Let me see who will give me the right answer. It is the Sehkar Sathi. Absolutely right. Sehkar Sathi is the right answer. Now, inclusion of dash banks under the RBI's integrated ombudsman scheme. It is a cooperative banks, right? Now, the deposit insurance and credit guarantee corporation insurance cover up to the dash per depositor per bank for all the cooperative banks. Now, what is the right answer? What is the amount that we are providing? The amount that we are providing is 5 lakh rupees. Absolutely right. So, Harshal and Praktish were just rocking in the today's session. Well done, guys. And seriously, it is really going to help you in the upcoming examinations, the way you are able to retain all the information. Okay. Now let's move on to the next news article. My dear friends, I hope that all of you are able to understand these articles till now that we have covered. Now let's move ahead to the annual nationwide mass drug administration campaign, which has been launched. Let's take an example, my dear friend, that there is a particular area, right? And you know, one portion of that area is having a stagnant water, and so many mosquitoes are there. So many mosquitoes are there, right? And now these mosquitoes are, spreading the diseases among the people. And see, let me tell you that so many mosquitoes are there, and they are almost affecting almost one third of the people, right, of that particular area. So it is really required that you know, we should only treat the people who are sick, or we are also required to ensure that the people who are not sick, they are also being ensured that they won't be able to get the disease, right? That will also be a surety to these people, right? So there are people who are already sick. Are we going to only focus on them? Let's take an example when COVID-19 pandemic was here. So what the people who got the COVID, only they were treated, or every person was being provided the COVID vaccine? So all the people were being provided the COVID vaccine so that the people cannot get impacted due to the other people, right? And the people who already got that COVID, so basically they also are able to do that. They are also able to become healthy, right, my dear friends? So basically, when we provide these vaccine services to the masses, then we call it as a mass drug administration campaign, right, my dear friends? The annual nationwide mass drug administration campaign has been launched. Now, against which disease it has been launched? So, Minister of Health and Family Welfare has launched the annual nationwide mass drug administration campaign for elimination of the lymphatic filariasis. My dear friends, what is lymphatic filariasis? Let me tell you that lymphatic filariasis is a vector-borne disease transmitted by a female Culex mosquito. So यहाँ पर mosquitoes है, तो mosquitoes ने impact किया. So the mosquitoes which are breeding in the polluted and the stagnant water. They spread the disease of the lymphatic filariasis, right? So we want to ensure that we want to interrupt the disease transmission, reduce morbidity, and ensure the equitable access to the preventive healthcare for all the people. And there are 12 states in our country which are being identified as the endemic states where we have seen a lot of cases of the lymphatic filariasis. Now, guys, what exactly lymphatic filariasis is all about? It is a vector-borne disease you are able to understand. Let me make it more easier for you that lymphatic filariasis is also called the hathi paw. Now, what is hathi paw? Hathi paw is the leg of the elephant. So the leg of the elephant is very, very big, right? It is a very, very big, the leg of the elephant. Now, what happens is that when these mosquitoes, they just, spread the disease of lymphatic filariasis to the people, what happens? That their legs got swollen up. उनके जो limbs होती हैं, limbs just got swollen up. And it really kind of becomes the leg of the elephant because it is that much swelled up. So that's why it is called hathi paw. And it is called lymphatic filariasis. Understood, my dear friends? Getting it? So we want to ensure that we are interrupting the disease transmission, reduce the morbidity as well, and ensure equitable access to preventive health care as a part of this. Clear, everyone? I hope that with this you will be able to, you know, relate this article more. You will be able to understand it more properly. Government of India aims to eliminate the lymphatic filariasis as a public health problem by end 2027. See, although the entire world is having a target that we will be eliminating the lymphatic filariasis by 2030. But India is aiming to ensure that we are eliminating it by 2027. Now, what is the status in India? There are 348 districts in our country across 20 states and union territories which are endemic and master registration campaign under the National Lymphatic Filariasis Program from February 2026. The program has shifted to a unified annual MDA campaign. तो ये प्रोग्राम शिफ्ट हो गया एक यूनिफाइड एनुअल एमडीए कैंपेन में विच विल बी रिप्लेसिंग द अर्लियर बायएनुअल राउंड्स तो जो पहले राउंड हो चुके थे उसको रिप्लेस करेंगे एंड द प्रोग्राम हैज बीन शिफ्टेड नाउ डायरेक्टली टू यूनिफाइड एनुअल एमडीए कैंपेन. This will be addressing the monsoon disruptions, logistical constraints, limited surveillance time, and operational burden, while strengthening supervision and the coverage. Clear, everyone? So, this is a mass drug administration campaign under the National Lymphatic Filariasis Program. Clear, all? Everybody able to understand this article? So, MD campaign under the National Lymphatic Program was launched in February 2026. The program shifted to a new unified annual MDA campaign, replacing the earlier biannual rounds. That's all. When it comes to the MDA coverage, it has improved from 75% to 85% in 2025. The district stopping MDA after the TES1 increased from 15% to 41% in 2025. Clear, everyone? All the details are clear to all? Let's now try to answer these questions. The annual nationwide master registration campaign has been launched. So the Dash launched the annual nationwide master campaign. What is the name of the entire team, my dear friends, which has come up with this initiative? Please tell me quickly in the chat box. The annual nationwide master administration campaign for the elimination of the lymphatic filariasis with the 12 identified LF endemic states was been launched by which organization? So what is the name? No one is able to answer this question. So this part is lymphatic filariasis also. Absolutely right. It is the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Absolutely right. Moving ahead, the government of India aims to eliminate the lymphatic filariasis as a public health problem by end which year? By which year we are targeting this to achieve? See, in the entire world, we are having the target to reduce it by 2030. But here, my dear friends, we are having it till 2027. Absolutely right. Now, MD coverage has improved from 75% to dash percent in 2025. 75% to around 81, 82% was there. Now, can anybody tell me the name of that female mosquito which spreads this disease? It is the Culex mosquito. That is the right answer. Absolutely right. So percentage यहाँ increase was 75 से 85%, and the name of the mosquito is female Culex mosquito. Absolutely right. Clear, everyone? Are you guys able to understand this from examination point of view? Are you able to connect with this article that we are discussing today in this particular session? Please tell me in the chat box if yes, so that we can ensure that yes, you are getting all the important things from exam point of view. So everybody is saying that yes, we are able to understand. That's all. Now, my dear friends, we are moving on to the next article, that is the Periodic Labor Force Survey Quarterly Bulletin, October to December 2025. Now, my dear future officers, we have already covered the Periodic Labor Force Survey Quarterly Bulletin of January to March, right? So we are not going to cover this particular article. We are going to skip it completely because we have already covered the latest article from the examination point of view. So let's completely skip it. Now moving ahead to the next article, the surcharge on the national income tax reduced for cooperative societies. So my dear friends, you all know that we are required to pay the taxes on our incomes, right? Now, when our income passes a particular threshold, right? Let's take an example. Government says that, see, Mr. Devanshu, if you are having the income of rupees 2,000 rupees, you have to pay this much of the tax, right? And if your income is surpassing 3,000, amount, then there will be the income tax will there, but there will be a tax on this tax will also be there. So whatever tax I will be paying additional tax over that tax. And this tax on the tax is called the surcharge. So basically, let me tell you, we have discussed a lot about the cooperatives which are really doing a good work for the society. Now this, let's take an example. These cooperatives are having the good amount of income. Now on after passing a threshold of an income, now they are supposed to pay tax on the tax. That is a surcharge on their existing tax on the incomes, right? So this surcharge has now been reduced by the government of India from 12% to 7%. Clear, everyone? So the surcharge on the income tax for the cooperative societies has been reduced from 12% to 7%. The reduced charges applies to the cooperative societies having more income between the 1 crore and rupees 10 crores. तो ये जो reduced surcharge था, it will be applying to the cooperative societies having a income between 1 crore and 10 crore. तो जिसकी इनकम 1 करोड़ से 10 करोड़ के बीच में थी, उस पर पहले 12% का सरचार्ज था, अब वो 7% लगेगा. The change is in effective from financial year 22-23. So we have to ensure that we are providing the good relief to the cooperatives. So that's what we have now done. Clear, everyone? Now, surcharge is an additional tax levied on the amount of income tax payable and not an on the total income directly. तो total income पे नहीं लगेगा, बल्कि जो टैक्स है आपका उसी के ऊपर एक टैक्स लगेगा जिसको हम सरचार्ज कहते हैं. Clear, everyone? I hope that everybody of you is able to understand this part. Let's move on to the question now. The surcharge on the income tax reduced for cooperative societies, it has been reduced from 12% to 7%, right? The reduced surcharge applies to the cooperative societies having income. What is the range of the income for these cooperative societies which will be having these kind of benefits? That is the 1 crore to 10 crore. Absolutely right. And the change is effective from financial year 22-23. Clear, everyone? I hope that you guys are able to understand it from the examination point of view. Now let's move on to the next part. Let's move on to the next article, that is the world's largest grain storage plant in cooperative sectors. So my dear friends, let's take an example that earlier the farmers were there, right? The farmers are having the good producers, but they are not having the good go down facilities. They are not able to store their produces. So what they have to do? On a frequent manner, on a hurried way, in a rushed manner, they are required to sell their produces. And they end up selling the produces at a low price because now they are not getting the proper price which is there around the country, right? And additionally, my dear friends, what was happening is that they were not getting the good prices. Why? Because they were selling in a rushed manner. But now, what if we are providing them the proper storing facilities, godown facilities, storage facilities, cold storages, right? So, what will happen? Now, these crops can sustain for a large amount of time, and definitely we can have a better income for these farmers. And that is what the recent change that we have made to the world's largest grain storage plan in the cooperative sector. So the world's largest grain storage plan in the cooperative sector was launched on 31st May 2023. It will be aiming to create food grain storage and other agricultural infrastructure across the country in the viable primary agriculture credit societies to convergence of the various government of India schemes. So there are so many schemes which are being now converged for this particular part. We are providing the good amount of inputs and good amount of support to the primary agriculture credit societies and other agricultural infrastructure across the country. The plan focuses on creating a decentralized agricultural infrastructure at PCS level, including the go-downs, custom hiring centers, procurement facilities, and common processing centers. Using available financial resources under the different schemes. The pilot project has been completed in 11 PACS across the 11 states. तो 11 states की 11 प्राइमरी एग्रीकल्चर क्रेडिट सोसाइटीज के अंदर हमने ऑलरेडी प्रोजेक्ट को कंप्लीट कर दिया है. With the help of which we have created the total storage capacity of 9.75 megatons at the PACS level. Clear, everyone? So the pilot project has been done in the 11 states, and what is the total storage that we have created out of them? That is 9,750 MT at the PACS level. The plan has been extended to more than 500 additional PACs where the foundation stone has been laid. Okay. Now there are some committees which have been constituted at the multiple levels for the implementation. My dear friends, what are the different committees which have been set up? So one is the Inter-Ministerial Committee chaired by the Minister of Home Affairs and Cooperation. Then there is a National Level Coordination Committee, State Cooperative Development Committee at the state UT level. Then we have a District Cooperative Development Committee at the district level. So you can see here that we are having the Inter-Ministerial Committee now. We are having the National Level Committee, State Cooperative Development Committee, and District Cooperative Development Committee. So we are having the committee at national, inter-ministerial level, national level, state level, and district cooperative level also. Are you guys getting the point? So there will be a project management unit has been established by the National Cooperative Development Corporation under the Ministry of Cooperation to monitor the implementation and coordinate with the stakeholders. So project management unit has been established by the National Cooperative Development Corporation, my dear friends. NCDC जिसके बारे में ऑलरेडी काफी बार डिस्कस कर चुके हैं अपने सेशन के अंदर. This has been done under the Ministry of Corporation to ensure implementation and coordinate with the stakeholders. Now the implementation of this particular plan will be done by NCDC. It is the implementing agency of the plan. It will be implemented through the convergence of the existing companies in existing schemes like Agriculture Infrastructure Fund, Agricultural Marketing Infrastructure, Submission on the Agricultural Mechanization, and PM formulation of micro food enterprises. Now, Balghat is a district of Madhya Pradesh, which was selected as the pilot district under the world's largest grain storage plan. So, my dear friends, which is the pilot district, the first pilot district under the world's largest grain storage plan? What is the right answer? It is the Balghat district of Madhya Pradesh. क्लियर एवरीवन. सो हमने कवर कर लिया कि कमिटीज कौन सी होंगी, इंप्लीमेंट कैसे किया जाएगा, प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजमेंट यूनिट को एस्टैब्लिश किया जाएगा बाय द एनसीडीसी. देन वी आर हैविंग द मल्टी लेवल फॉर इंप्लीमेंटेशंस. Clear to all of you? And this particular plan was launched on 31st of May 2023. So I hope that till now everything is clear to everyone. Let's now try to answer the questions here. Okay. Let's start. The world's largest grain storage plan in cooperative sector was launched on 31st May 2023. The plan aims to create the food grain storage and other agricultural infrastructure across the viable contain the viable dash to convergence of various development Indian schemes. Right? It is the viable. What exactly will come here? Please quickly tell me in the chat box. In the viable primary agriculture credit societies, absolutely right. Now the project has been completed in the 11 PSCs across how many states? Across 11 states, creating a total storage capacity. Now moving at the project management unit has been established by the Ministry of Corporation under the Ministry of Corporation. So it will be NCDC. Now what is the implementation? My different dash is the implementing agency of the plan. NCDC will be the right answer. Now, the Balghat district of which state was selected as a pilot project, that is Madhya Pradesh. And under the pilot project, one dash meaty godown was constructed at Bahudesha Prathamik Krishi Saath Sahakari Society. What is the right answer? 500 MT of godown was constructed. Absolutely right. So, my dear friends, with this, we are done with almost half of the session. And as we are basically taking the session since last 1.5 hours, now it's a time that we should take a very small break of 5 to 6 minutes, right? And then we will be back and we will be covering the remaining part of the session. So till then, please ensure that you are revitalizing yourself, you're re-energizing yourself so that we can bring more and more energy to this session in the next part of the session also. Clear? And your time starts now. Right now, the time in my watch is 5:34 and we will be back by 5:40. Okay? Your time starts now. So hello future officers. So please give me a thumbs up in the chat box if you guys are back after the break so that we can resume this session. I am waiting for a response in the chat box. First of all, do confirm me if I am audible and visible to all of you. And please give me a thumbs up in the chat box to mark your attendance to ensure that we can resume this today's session. Just few articles are left for the today's session and then we are done with the today's session as well. So all the technicalities are good and we are good to go to resume the session. So till now we have covered so many very important articles, right? And now let's move on to the next part, that is the Ayushman Sehkar scheme. So my dear future officers, we have covered till now the lot of things about the cooperatives, right? And I told you here that what these cooperatives do is that the society, the people of the society, they just come together and they try to come up with the services. So let's take an example that there is a place, there is a village, and there the government hospital is very far away from the people, from the residential area of the village, right? And there is a private hospital which is quite very expensive, which is in this area, and the people are basically living in these areas nearby this private hospital. So my dear friends, what happens exactly here? What happens exactly here? People won't be able to take the expensive treatment of the private hospital, and it will take a lot of time for them to go to the government hospital. So considering this issue, the people who are living there, it can be the self-help group members, it can be the farmers, it can be the rickshaw wala, it can be the shopkeeper. So they, all of these people just come together and they decided that let's create a group, let's create a cooperative society in which we will be doing some contribution, right? And we will be launching our own healthcare clinic, our own healthcare center, our own diagnostic center, our own labs, so that the families of us and the other villages also, they can also get the services of this, right? And that's where, to induce such kind of behavior and to support more and more cooperatives having such kind of objective, the government of India came up with the Ayushman Sehkar scheme. Getting the point that why exactly things are coming to the picture, that's what I am trying to explain you. Because see, every such scheme, every such step which is being taken by the government is a solution to one of the problem which exists in our society. And we need to resolve these problems proactively. And that's why the government of India do the work in a proactive manner by coming up with these different schemes. Clear? So the National Cooperative Development Corporation notified the Ayushman Sehkar scheme in October 2020 under the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare in alignment with the National Health Policy 2017 to support development of healthcare sector through the cooperatives. To support the development of the healthcare sector through the cooperatives, so Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare aligned with the National Health Policy 2017. So they came up with the Ayushman Sahakar scheme in October 2020. It provided financial assistance to the eligible cooperative societies in the healthcare sector, including Ayush, to ensure long-term financial sustainability. तो जो हमारी लॉन्ग टर्म फाइनेंशियल सस्टेनेबिलिटी है उसको इंश्योर करने के लिए द स्कीम प्रोवाइडेड द फाइनेंशियल असिस्टेंस टू एलिजिबल कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज इन द हेल्थ केयर सेक्टर. Clear everyone? Are you guys getting the point? So the scheme provides financial assistance to the eligible cooperative societies in the healthcare sector, including Ayush, to ensure long-term financial sustainability, to offer the financial services to the societies which are having the objective of coming up with the healthcare facilities in the areas. Clear? Now, what is the objective? To provide affordable and holistic healthcare through hospitals, healthcare, and education facilities. So, my dear friends, we are not here just talking about the healthcare facility. No, we are talking about all the different components of the healthcare. For example, healthcare facility is very important, medicines are very important, education is important, healthcare education is very important, right? So all these things will be considered as a part of the Ayushman Sahakar scheme. We will be promoting Ayush facilities through the cooperatives, support cooperatives in the meeting objectives of national health policy, enable cooperatives to participate in national digital health mission, support comprehensive healthcare including education services and insurance. तो ये सारी comprehensive healthcare services will be provided as a target under this Ayushman Sahakar scheme. If this is clear to all of you, please give me a thumbs up in the chat box that yes, we are able to understand it from exam point of view. My dear future officers, everything is clear till now. Now moving ahead, the activities which are being covered, it will include the creation, modernization, expansion, repair and renovation of hospital, healthcare and education infrastructure. So basically, as a part of this cooperative societies, we are providing them financial assistance. Now, this financial assistance can be used by the cooperatives for the creation of the new infrastructure, for modernizing existing infrastructure, for expanding existing infrastructure, for the repair and renovation of the hospital, healthcare, and the education infrastructure. The project cost will be decided as per the actual requirement of the societies. Now, what is the, when it comes to the infrastructure creation, how these project facilities will be funded? So there will be two channels. One is the direct funding, in which NCDC will directly be funding to the societies, right? Where they can take the loan of 70% and 30% will be the society share. Clear? Now there is another channel of the state government. Now there is one way in which NCDC is giving money to state government, right? And there the loan can be of 90%, society share up to 10%. Now there is another scenario where state government will be giving the money to the society, right? So loan, where loan can be taken up to the 50%, share capital will be 40%, and society share will be of 10%. Clear everyone? So there are two channels. One is through the state government, one is through the direct funding. In the direct funding, NCDC will directly give money to the society. And in the state government wala channel, there are two ways. One is NCDC will give money to the state government, and the state government, the other part is the state government will be giving money to the society. Clear everyone? Are you guys getting it? So now the loan period is up to 8 years, including 1 to 2 years moratorium on the principal repayment, depending on project type and revenue generation capacity. Clear all? So the loan period is of up to 8 years, which will include 1 to 2 years of the moratorium on the principal repayment. तो यहाँ पर ऐसा नहीं कि जैसे ही लोन खत्म हुआ और repayment start. No, there will be a moratorium period, right? The small window in which the person is not required to pay any amount, and only after the end of the moratorium period the person is now eligible to repay the loan, right? Now, depending on the project type and the revenue generation capacity, this will be done. The rate of interest will be 1% less than applicable NCDC term loan rate. So guys, जो NCDC से हमें लोन मिलता है, right, उससे 1% कम पे हमें मिलेगा under this scheme. for cooperative societies with the majority women members. तो अगर हमारी सोसाइटी में majority of the members are women only, then we will be getting 1% interest rate less from the loans that we are taking from the NCDC. Now, assistance is provided as a term loan or the investment loan, either through state government, UT administration, or directly or to cooperatives meeting NCDC direct funding guidelines. तो एनसीडीसी की कुछ अपनी डायरेक्ट फंडिंग गाइडलाइंस है, उसको मद्देनजर रखते हुए स्टेट गवर्नमेंट यूटी एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन और डायरेक्टली टू द कोऑपरेटिव्स वी कैन गेट दिस लोन्स एंड दिस विल बी इधर अ टर्म लोन और अ इन्वेस्टमेंट लोन. नाउ हु आर एलिजिबल फॉर दिस? कोई भी कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी विच इज रजिस्टर्ड एनी स्टेट एक्ट और द मल्टी स्टेट कोऑपरेटिव एक्ट 2002, they are eligible to take the loan as a part of this Ayushman Sahakar scheme. Clear everyone? Now let's move on to the subsidy. Now what is the subsidy that is being provided here? So NCDC loan assistance is proposed to be dovetailed with the subsidy grant or the viability gap funding or any other mechanism of the government of India or any other funding agency. Right? So जो NCDC का loan assistance है, it will be dovetailed with the subsidy or the viability grant gap funding or the grant. Right? Then there is a margin money, my dear friends. I already told you that there are two channels, that is a direct funding where NCDC is giving to the society, and then there is a funding to the state government. So funding to the state government, there are two ways, that is a NCDC to state government and the state government to the society. So यहाँ पर loan for availing bank credit is 100% and the loan or share capital or loan cum share capital is 100%. And the loan is of 100% in terms of the NCDC to society. So when it comes to the working capital, again there are two ways: NCDC to society, NCDC to state government, and state government to society. So loan as per the requirement will be given by the NCDC to the state government, and the state government will be giving the loan to the society. Right? So these are the different things that we need to understand from the examination point of view. Okay, my dear friends, getting it? Let's try to answer the questions now in the comment section. Ayushman Sahakar scheme. My dear friends, what is the name of that entity which has notified the Ayushman Sahakar scheme, that is NCDC? In October 2020, if I am not wrong. Yes, October 2020 is the right answer. Under the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare with National Health Policy 2017. So the scheme provides financial assistance to eligible cooperative societies in the healthcare sector. Now, when it comes to the project cost, the rate of interest will be provided in case of the majority of the women members. The rate of the interest will be 1% less than the applicable NCDC term loan rate. Clear, everyone? So all the people, give me a thumbs up in the chat box if this is clear to everyone. So my dear future officers, that's all with that article. Let's move ahead. The Universal Social Protection Plan. See guys, the previous article was quite a longer one, right? And we have covered it in a very beautiful manner. I hope that you guys are also agree with the same. Let's move on to the next part, the Social Protection Plan. Guys, recently we covered the three schemes, right? Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana was one of them. Atal Pension Yojana was there, right? So we already covered about the social protection, that we need to provide the social protection to the people in terms of the insurance against the accidents, in terms of the pension after their retirement, right? So let me tell you that India has achieved a historic milestone in the realm of social protection coverage, under which we have recorded one of the most significant expansions globally. According to the latest data from the International Labour Organization, तो जो इंडिया का सोशल प्रोटेक्शन कवरेज है, it has increased from 19% in 2015 to 64.3% in 2025. We can see here that we can even improve it more than 3 times, 19% say 64.3% in 2025. And we ensured social security coverage of organized sector workers through the different schemes of the Employees Provident Fund Organization, which includes your EPF, EPS and the EDLI scheme. तो हमारे पास Employees Provident Fund scheme है, Employees Pension scheme है, Employees Deposit Linked Insurance scheme है. So through these particular schemes, we are able to now ensure social security coverage of the organized sector workers. See guys, the Pradhan Mantri Suraksha Bima Yojana, Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana, Atal Pension Yojana, those are for the unorganized people, right? But what about the organized sector workers? So these are the different schemes: EPS scheme, EPF scheme, and EDLI scheme. And aim is quite simple. We want to provide comprehensive social security to the organized sector workers by ensuring retirement savings, monthly pension on superannuation disability, and insurance benefits to dependents in the case of death during service. For the first time, the definition of the gig workers and the platform workers has also been added. And there was a provision related to the same which have been made in the Code on Social Security 2020. And this has come into force from 21st of November 2025. My dear friends, please note down the point 21st November 2025. The point from which it has come into force, Social Security Code 2020, where we have also added the definition of the gig workers or the platform workers. Like I told you about the people who are like, Zomato delivery persons, right? These drivers are there. So these are the platform workers or the gig workers who are basically available on one platform. Clear? It provides for framing of suitable social security measures for the gig workers and platform workers on matters relating to the life and disability cover, accident insurance, health, and maternity benefits. Clear, everyone? Are you guys able to understand it? So यहाँ पर दोस्तों सबसे important part क्या है आपका? Which country has achieved a historic milestone in the realm of social security protection coverage? That is India. The social security coverage has increased from 19% to 64.3% in 2025. For the first time, the definition of the platform workers and the gig workers and their provisions have been added to the Code on the Social Security 2020, and this has now come into force from which date? From 21st November 2025. That is the right answer. Clear, everyone? Are you guys able to understand it? Okay, my dear friends, I can see in the chat box, Harshal, Pratyush, both of you have, Shruti, all of you have given me the right answer in the comment section. Well done, everyone. Now let's move on to the next news article. And my dear friends, next news article is about India's manufacturing performance, which is strengthened with the gross value addition growth of 7.72% in quarter one and 9.13% in quarter two. Let me tell you that this quarterly data from the examination point of view is not important, right? If this data was there in the month of the, May, then definitely we would have covered it. But as it is in the month of February, we can avoid the coverage of this data. Clear all? Because we are only required to cover the latest data from examination point of view. But you can cover here one point, my dear friend, that the Union Budget 2026-27 has promoted the creating champion MSMEs, the champion SMEs with the 10,000 crore SME growth fund and 2,000 crore top up to Self-Reliant India Fund. So you can just remember this data from examination point of view because this is related to the Union Budget 26-27, which we will be covering during the upcoming part of the session in a detailed manner. Now moving at the second installment of the 15th Finance Commission of Untied Grants. My dear friends, we all know that the Finance Commission provides some installments of the untied grants, right, to the different states and the Panchayati Raj institutions and the rural local bodies. Now let me tell you a very important point that this information is not important for us. What is important about the Finance Commission and the 15th Finance Commission? Although right now we are having the 16th Finance Commission, right? So first of all, let's discuss about the 15th Finance Commission. It was constituted on 27th November 2017. Under which article of the Constitution? A very important point, under Article 280 of the Constitution of India. And it was chaired by N.K. Singh. So N.K. Singh was the chairman of the 15th Finance Commission. It was established under which article of Constitution of India? Under Article 280. It was constituted on which day? 27th November 2017. Absolutely right. Its recommendations covered a 5-year award period 2020-2021 to 2025-2026. Okay, my dear friends. So what was the time period of this? 2020-2021 to 25-26. Objective क्या होता है इसका फाइनेंस कमीशन का? Basically the devolution of the taxes. My dear friends, you all know that Indian government earn a lot of money through the tax receipts, right? So the net proceeds of the taxes. So now how much money will center government will keep and how much money it will be given to the states and to the different states? We need to understand that, right? We need to have a rule which will be, which will be implemented by all the states. ऐसा नहीं है कि कोई स्टेट मना कर देगा कि नहीं हम तो नहीं लेंगे. You have done some injustice to us, right? This is not the scenario. So basically, my dear friends, the primary objective of the commission was to strengthen the fiscal federalism by recommending the distribution of net proceeds of taxes between the center and the states and among the states themselves. So center से state पे जब जाता है, it is called vertical devolution, and when it is being distributed among the states, it's called horizontal devolution of the taxes. Clear? Now, according to that, 41% of the divisible tax pool to the states. This was the vertical devolution, 41% of the taxes given to the states. Right, my dear friends? That's all. Now for the 16th Finance Commission, I'm giving you a homework. And I want all of you to give me the answer to that homework in the comment section. Please tell me in the comment section after the session that who is presently serving as the chairman of the 16th Finance Commission and what is the time period for which the Finance Commission is implemented. The 16th Finance Commission. Clear everyone? Are you guys able to understand it from examination point of view? Okay, so that's all from this article. Let's move on to the next part. So are you able to answer all the questions that if I will be asking you the questions from this? Okay, let's start. So when it comes to the 15th Finance Commission, it was constituted in which year? 27 November 2017. Under which article? Article 280. It was chaired by N.K. Singh. Absolutely right. What was the time period? 2020-21 to 25-26? What is the vertical devolution? 41% of the tax. Absolutely right. Well done. Now, my dear friend, let's move on to the next news article now. So yes, I can see in the chat box all the people have given me the right answer. Now, next article, Ministry of Earth Sciences has signed an agreement with the government of Puducherry, right? So, government of Puducherry has signed a MOU with the Ministry of Earth Sciences, and they will be implementing across the six important pillars. Now, what are these six important pillars? Basically, these pillars will be advancing the marine research, infrastructure development, and blue economy initiatives in the Union Territory of Puducherry. We will be focusing on advancing the marine research. We will be working on infrastructure development and blue economy initiatives. Clear? So the collaboration covers the six strategic areas. One is the sustainable marine fisheries, offshore wind energy, desalination technologies, ocean climate advisory, permanent coastal management, marine spatial planning. So these all are the different areas on which the two entities will be working together, and they will be designating nodal officers and the established joint working group for project implementation. So project implementation के लिए they will be designating nodal officers and establish joint working groups for project implementation. And this MOU will be valid for a period of 5 years. Clear everyone? So the coast sustainable marine fisheries mein there will be deep sea fishing promotion, seaweed cultivation, identification of migratory routes and fishing grounds. Then in the offshore wind energy, we are having the feasibility studies and technical support for renewable energy. Again, let me tell you that there is not much requirement of going into the detail. Why? Because this is an agreement with the between the union territory and the ministry, right? And this is again, so much away from the demand of the syllabus. So that's why just remember this that across six pillars, just remember the name of the pillars. That's it. That will be important, right? So Ministry of Earth Sciences signed an MOU with the government of Puducherry for sustainable marine fisheries, offshore wind energy, desalination technologies, ocean climate advisory, permanent coastal management, and the marine spatial planning. That is the all. Clear, everyone? That's all from this part. Let's move ahead to the next part. Update on the Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, guys. We have discussed the scheme earlier, and I already told you that Government of India came up with the scheme in which they are providing the health insurance to the 10 crore people, in which they are telling that, okay, do not worry, we are providing you the health coverage of up to rupees 5 lakh per family per year. So there are so many people in our country who are poor people who cannot afford the expensive treatments in the hospitals, right? So considering this and considering proper accessibility to the healthcare services, Government of India came up with this brilliant idea of coming the Jan Arogya Yojana, in which government said that don't worry, hey my dear family, don't worry, I know that you cannot afford, do not worry, but I am still there to support you. And we are supporting you up to rupees 5 lakh per family per year. So 5 lakh rupees तक के treatments आप करा सकते हो in a year. Clear? So from April 2022 to January 2026, approximately 35.69 crore Ayushman cards were created. And the people who are the beneficiaries of the Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, they also get the Ayushman cards. Clear everyone? So 35.69 crore Ayushman cards were created under the Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. The ABPMJAY is the Government of India's flagship public health insurance scheme launched in September 2018. So guys, in which year it was launched? 2018. Why? To provide the financial protection against the catastrophic health expenditure. So why it is called catastrophic? Sometimes you know that the families are not even ready for such kind of expenses, and these expenses just basically disbalance and disturbs the balance of the family's financial health. So for such kind of situations, we are providing the health insurance coverage to 10 crore people and vulnerable families, around 50 crore beneficiaries, my dear friends, keeping in mind that there are 5 people in the family. And paperless health coverage of up to rupees 5 crore lakh per family per year for secondary and tertiary care hospitalization across empaneled public and private hospitals in India. तो जो हमारी कंट्री के अंदर जो एम्पैनल्ड पब्लिक और प्राइवेट हॉस्पिटल्स हैं वहां से वो 5 लाख रुपीज तक का ट्रीटमेंट करा सकते हैं. दैट मीन्स अगर हम बात करें एक फैमिली के अंदर 5 पीपल हैं देन 1 लाख पर पर्सन पर फैमिली, राइट? दैट्स व्हाट वी आर प्रोवाइडिंग. It will be implemented by National Health Authority at the central level in coordination with the state health agencies. Clear? An Ayushman card is the identification document issued to the eligible beneficiaries under the Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, which will enable them to avail cashless treatment at empaneled hospitals anywhere in the country through a portability feature. As on 31st January 2026, 5.77 crore hospital admissions were authorized for the private hospitals under the scheme. As on 31st January 2026, my dear friends, 5.77 crore hospital admissions were authorized for private hospitals under the scheme. The authorized amount for these admissions stands at 1.15 lakh crores. So, 31st January 2026 तक 5.77 crore hospital admissions को authorize किया गया था for the private hospitals under the scheme, and the authorized amount for these admissions stood at 1.15 lakh crores. Clear everyone? So we have covered each and every part of this particular article. Now let's try to answer the questions here. So Ministry of Earth Sciences and the Government of Puducherry have signed an MOU, right? They will be focusing on advancing marine research, infrastructure development and blue economy initiatives. Both the parties will designate dash and establish dash for the project implementation. They will be designating nodal officers and they will establish dash. Now you have to answer me this answer. So now you are required to give me the answer to this particular question, my dear friends. What they are going to establish for the project implementation? Let me see who will give me the right answer. Absolutely right, Pratyush. That is a joint working group. Absolutely right. Now moving on to the next article. So the Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana is the Government of India's flagship public health insurance scheme, which was launched in September 2018 to provide financial protection against catastrophic health expenditure. So it aims to cover over 10 crore poor and vulnerable families, around 50 crore beneficiaries by providing cashless and the paperless health coverage of up to how much amount? 5 lakh per family per year. It has been implemented by Dash at the central level in coordination with the state health agencies. तो कौन इम्प्लीमेंट करता है इसको? नेशनल हेल्थ अथॉरिटी. What is the name of the card which is being provided to the people, to the beneficiaries as the identification document for eligible beneficiaries under the Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana? The right answer is Ayushman card. That is the right answer. Absolutely, this is the right answer, my dear friends. So with this, we are done with this news article. Okay. Now let's move on to the next article, that is the rural transformation through decentralization. The sustained fiscal commitment has driven rural transformation with the rural development budget allocation rising over 211%. My dear friends, you all know that for the rural transformation, Government of India is taking so many projects. And here we have also worked on the rural development project. Budget allocations, which has increased by 211% to 2.73 lakh crore in the year 26-27. When it comes to the poverty, my dear friends, it has been 5.3%. The extreme poverty was at 5.3% in 22-23, which is the global less than the global average. And when we talk about the multidimensional poverty, it has reduced to 11.28%. You can see that in 2005-6, according to the Niti Aayog data, it was 55.3%. The multidimensional poverty in our country was 55.3% in 2005-6. Now it has reduced to 11.28% in 2022-23. The women-led collective anchor last mile delivery mobilizing 10.05 crore women across 90.09 lakh self-help group supported by 9 lakh community cadres. So we are also working on the women-led collective anchors, right? So that we can ensure the last mile delivery. And then comes the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, my dear friends. We have increased the budgetary allocation for the same as well from 12,581 crore to 19,000 crores in 26-27, which is an increase of 51%. So we are basically, you know what? We are basically comparing it from the 2016-17 data. That time it was 12,581 crore. Now it has increased to 19,000 crores in 26-27. Now the housing-led security has expanded at a scale with 3.7 crore rural homes built over 11 years under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin, increased from 15,000 crore to 54,916 crore in 26-27. My dear friends, let me tell you a very important point here. That see, what happens is that when the parliament session is going on, then the minister comes into the parliament. He just, tells the different initiatives that we have taken. And this news article is also the example of the same. Let me tell you that although this data is not that much relevant from examination point of view, but it can really act as a good fodder for you for the phase two examination, right? So if I ask you what is the decline in the multidimensional poverty, it has reduced from 55.3% to what percent into 22-23, that is 11.28%, right? The rural development budget allocation has also increased to 2.73 lakh crores in 26-27. The women-led collectives anchor last mile delivery, mobilizing 10.05 crores women across 90.09 lakh self-help groups. When it comes to the Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, the financial allocation, the budgetary allocation has increased from 12,581 crore to 19,000 crores. Clear everyone? For the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, it has increased to 54,916.7 crores. So you can try to answer these questions now. This is the homework for all of you. Please try to answer these questions in the comment section, right? Let's move ahead to the next part. The first national call for 2000 crore BIRAC RDI fund. My dear friends, we have already covered the scheme, the Research Development and Innovation Initiative, right, in the very first week of the February 2026, right? So do you want me to cover this scheme again? Like we have already covered the scheme in a very detailed manner in that particular session, right? So let me tell you that till the time we are going backward line, the backward month, there are so much of the data which we have already covered. So the first national call for 2000 crore BIRAC RDA fund was announced under this scheme, which is having the 1 lakh crore of the Research Development Innovation Initiative. So all the people are saying that there is no requirement of repeating it, so we are skipping this article, right? So अगर हम बात करें इंडिया का टारगेट क्या है बायो इकोनॉमी के अंदर, दैट इज $300 billion by 2030. That's all. Clear? So now please ensure that you are revising this scheme from the examination point of view, as it is really very important. Clear, everyone? Let's move on to the next news article, the National Conference on the Safety of Women at Workplace. My dear friends, we all know and we have covered a lot many times that when it comes to the women, right now we are working on the women empowerment, and the most important thing for the women is the respect. And wherever they should go, they are going, they should be respected, they must be respected. And be it any place, when they are working at any place, be it is a government entity or it is a private office or it is a construction work site, in all these workplaces, we have to ensure their proper safety and dignified respect that they are getting, right? So the Ministry of Women and Child Development, considering this, came up with the idea of National Conference on the Safety of Women at Workplace. She walks in New Delhi, and here, as a part of this conference, we basically promote the awareness of POSH revisions. What is the POSH, my dear friends? It is the Prevention, Prohibition, and Redressal Act. It is the sexual harassment of women at workplace. To prevent the sexual harassment of women at workplace, under the Prevention, Prohibition, and Redressal Act 2013. So basically, we have provided the awareness to the people under this particular part. It strengthens the compliance, increase adoption of she walks, and ensures safety and dignity for women at the workplaces. It ensures the creation of a safe, dignified, and harassment-free workplaces for all women across sectors and to strengthen the implementation of sexual harassment of women at workplaces. Over 1.5 lakh workplaces have been onboarded on the She Walks portal, and local committees are active in every district. Women's labor force participation has increased from 23 to 42%, and over 80% of the women are engaged in the informal sector. My dear friends, see, a very important data is here coming out. More than 80% of the women who are working in our country are working in the informal sector. And in the workers, women's labor force participation rate, their participation has increased from 23% to the 42%, which really needs a wider coverage and protection for these women because they are in the working in the informal sector where again the rules and regulations are not being complied properly, right? And their labor force participation it has also increased. That means more and more women are becoming the part of the job culture. They are working now, right? So they are becoming the part of the workforce. So we have to ensure that we are providing the security, safety, and protection to these women so that we can ensure more participation of the women in the workforce. So during the event, the ministry has launched the SheWalks logo, post voluntary compliance checklist, integration of the SheWalks with the Mission Shakti app, and the Karma Yogi Bharat post training link on the SheWalks portal. Now, guys, when we talk about the gender budget allocation this year, it has exceeded 5 lakh crores. Now, moving on to the SheWalks portal, it was being launched by the Ministry of Women and Child Development on 29th of August 2024. तो शीवॉक्स पोर्टल को लॉन्च किया गया मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ वुमेन एंड चाइल्ड डेवलपमेंट द्वारा इन 2024. It is a secure, user-friendly, multilingual single-window platform with a strict confidentiality. So, guys, you know that there are so many times what happens is that there are people who are having the complaint, but they don't know where to file a complaint and whether this complaint will reach the specified authority also or not, so that this complaint can be resolved. There should be a proper resolution of the complaint, right? So that is why Government of India, Ministry of Women and Child Development came up with the SheBox portal. This is a box where this is the portal on which we are able to file the complaint, and it will be going to the respective authorities who will be responsible for taking the action on these complaints. And this comes with a strict confidentiality. It allows online complaint filing, automatic forwarding to the concerned internal or local committee, and the real-time tracking to enhance transparency and accountability for assisting stakeholders for effective implementation of POSH Act. So ऑनलाइन कंप्लेंट फाइलिंग को अलाउ करेगा, ऑटोमेटिक फॉरवर्डिंग होगी कंसर्न इंटरनल और लोकल कमेटी को, रियल टाइम ट्रैकिंग होगी टू एनहांस ट्रांसपेरेंसी एंड अकाउंटेबिलिटी फॉर असिस्टिंग द स्टेकहोल्डर्स फॉर इफेक्टिव इम्प्लीमेंटेशन. It serves as a resource hub and enabling workplaces to upload compliance related information, including committee details, annual reports and awareness of the training initiatives. So that's all, my dear friends, from this particular news article. I hope that you guys are able to understand about this particular article. Let's try to solve these questions now. So हमने already cover किया था first national call for the 2000 crore BIREC RDI fund under the government of India's 1 lakh crore research development and innovation initiative. India set a target of $300 billion by economy by 2030, right, my dear friends? Now, moving at National Conference on Women Safety of Women at Workplace, She-Box was being organized in New Delhi by the Ministry of Women and Child Development. They want to promote awareness of the provisions. Over dash workplaces have been onboarded on the She-Box. So, how many workplaces have been onboarded on the She-Box, my dear friends? So I can see in the chat box, Harshal, Pratyush have given me the right answer to the previous questions, also in a very clear manner. That is a $300 billion. Well done, Shruti, also who have given me the right answer. Well done, everyone. Now please try to answer this question. Over dash workplaces have been onboarded on the She box. So what will be the right answer here? 1.5 lakh workplaces. Absolutely right. Well done. Now, women's labor force participation has been increased from what percent to what percent? 23% to 42%. Absolutely right. And they are engaged in which sector, my dear friends? Informal sector. The gender budget allocation has exceeded what amount? 5 lakh crores. It was being launched by women when it comes to SheBox portal. It was being launched by Minister of Women and Child Development on 29th of August 2024. That's all from this article. Let's move on to the next article now. Clear, everyone? Getting it? Are you guys able to retain all the information from examination point of view? Yes, please give me a thumbs up in the chat box. Harshal, Pratyush, Shruti, all of you are really rocking in this session by giving me the right answers. Well done, my dear friends. Let's move on to the next news article, that is the PM Rahat scheme launched. So, my dear friends, in our country, so many times you see that when an accident takes place on the road, right? So, we are really supposed to take the victims of accident to the hospital. And you know that just after the accident, that 1 hour is really very important. Because if on the timely basis the person is being taken to the hospital and his treatment is getting started, then definitely we are able to save the life of the person. And that's why we call that 1 hour just after the accident as the golden hour, in which we are just helping the people reaching the hospital and getting their treatment started. But what if we are just taking them to the hospital and the hospital says that who will be paying the bills for this person? Please tell me. Any volunteer who is there who will be paying the bill? And you know always that, guys, that there are a lot of people who hesitate, right? And that was the reason what was happening is earlier is that the treatment of the person was starting after some delayed time, and that costed that critical time, the time when, let's take an example, it was a lot of bleeding, right? And by the time treatment was started, the person has already, lost so much of the blood. So again, it will be very, very problematic for the person, right? So we have to ensure that we are saving the life of the person. So that's where government of India said that, see, these people are really very, very beautiful in their thinking and their helping nature, that they have brought them to the hospital. But now we have to ensure that the treatment is getting started. So यहाँ पर हमें उस victim को राहत देनी है, support देना है. So इसीलिए government of India came up with the initiative of PM Rahat scheme. So one of the person just complained to the government that we brought the person to the hospital, but treatment was not started. तो उस victim को, उस पर्सन को जिसका एक्सीडेंट हुआ, उसको राहत नहीं मिली. क्यों? क्योंकि उसका ट्रीटमेंट स्टार्ट नहीं हुआ. तो गवर्नमेंट सेड दैट ओके, पर्सन को राहत देने के लिए लेट्स स्टार्ट द पीएम राहत स्कीम. So Ministry of Road Transport and Highway launched the PM Rahat. Rahat stands for Road Accident Victim Hospitalization and Assured Treatment. Road Accident Victim Hospitalization and assured treatment to provide cashless treatment to the road accident victims. तो इसमें हमने दोस्तों एक बनाया पीएम राहत फंड, जिसके थ्रू एक हफ्ते तक एक पर्टिकुलर अमाउंट ऑफ expenses that we can provide the treatment to the particular person, right? So we will be providing the cashless treatment to the accident victims under the PM Rahat scheme. The aim is to ensure that no life is lost due to the lack of immediate medical assistance, especially during the golden hour. The scheme is integrated with the emergency response support system 112 helpline for quick ambulance support and hospital access. It is implemented through the integration of the EDAR platform. Guys, what is the EDAR platform? It is the electronic detailed action accident report, electronic detailed accident report of the platform of the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways. So it has been integrated with the EDAR platform. There is a transaction management system of the National Health Authority 2.0, transaction management system 2.0 of the National Health Authority. So we are implementing it through the integration of these two platforms, that is the EDAR, electronic detailed accident report of the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, and the transaction management system of the National Health Authority. Clear? So every eligible road accident victim on any category of road is entitled to cashless treatment up to rupees 1.5 lakh per victim for 7 days. So per victim for a period of 7 days, we will be providing the rupees 1.5 lakh of the treatment to the person, to ensure that the person is getting treated properly well, and there is no delay in the treatment process, right? And we are not going to make any discrimination on the person on the basis of any kind of category of the road कि ये accident उस road पे हुआ था, so that particular entity is responsible for that. No, whatever the category of the road, nothing is required to be seen, just the patient is there, we have to treat them, that's it. Clear everyone? So there is a stabilization treatment up to 24 hours for the non-life threatening cases, 48 hours for the life threatening cases. Police authentication on an integrated child digital system is required within 24 hours on the case of non-life threatening cases and 48 hours in the case of life threatening cases. So police authentication will be there on an integrated digital system. It will be required within 24 hours and 48 hours. Then it enables the digital linkage from the accident reporting to hospital admission. तो डिजिटल लिंकेज होगी, एक्सीडेंट पहले रिपोर्ट होगा, हॉस्पिटल में एडमिशन होगा, उसका पुलिस ऑथेंटिकेशन होगा, ट्रीटमेंट होगा, क्लेम प्रोसेस किया जाएगा और फाइनल पेमेंट होगा. So that will be the complete cycle. A grievance redressal officer will be nominated by the district road manage safety committee. डिस्ट्रिक्ट की रोड सेफ्टी कमेटी एक नोडल ऑफिसर को, रिड्रेसल ऑफिसर को नॉमिनेट करेगी, who will be addressing the grievances at the district level. Now the payments and claims. In insured cases, payment will be drawn from the contributions made by the general insurance companies. If the person is insured, तो वो पैसा कहाँ से लिया जाएगा? जनरल इंश्योरेंस कंपनी से. अगर पर्सन अनइंश्योर्ड है और एक हिट एंड रन का केस है, then the payment will be made through budgetary allocation of the government of India. तो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया का जो बजटरी एलोकेशन है वहां से पेमेंट किया जाएगा. गाइस वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट कि फंडिंग कहाँ से होगी, बिल्स कहाँ से पे किए जाएंगे. अगर पर्सन इंश्योर्ड है तो उसकी जनरल इंश्योरेंस कंपनी से होगा. अगर पर्सन अनइंश्योर्ड था और हिट एंड रन केस का ये केस है, तो बेसिकली पेमेंट कहाँ से होगी? बजटरी एलोकेशन ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया. और रीइंबर्समेंट टू द हॉस्पिटल्स विल बी मेड थ्रू द मोटर व्हीकल एक्सीडेंट फंड. तो मोटर व्हीकल एक्सीडेंट फंड के थ्रू रीइंबर्समेंट होगा हॉस्पिटल्स को, एंड द क्लेम्स व्हिच विल बी अप्रूव्ड बाय द स्टेट हेल्थ एजेंसी विल बी पेड विद इन 10 days. तो स्टेट हेल्थ एजेंसी है, the claims which will be approved by the state health agency will be paid within 10 days. तो 10 days के अंदर अंदर उनको उनका पूरा का पूरा क्लेम प्रोवाइड करा दिया जाएगा. ठीक है. और my dear friends, why exactly this PM Rahat scheme has been launched by the government? Because we have seen that in the so many studies, in the 50% of the road accident deaths that we have seen, we could have prevented the death if the victims were admitted to hospital within the first hour. तो फर्स्ट आवर में नहीं एडमिट करा पाए, दैट इज व्हाई the people lost their life, and that's why we need to ensure that we have to take them to the hospital. Okay, my dear future officers. So let's again revise this PM Rahat scheme. It has been launched by Minister of Road Transport and Highways. And what exactly Rahat stands for? Road accident victim hospitalization and assured treatment. And we are focusing on the first 1 hour, that is the golden hour after the accident. We will be implementing through the integration of EDAR platform of the MORTH, that is the Electronic Detailed Accident Report and Transaction Management System of the National Health Authority. We will be providing cashless treatment up to what amount? 1.5 lakh per victim. For how many days? 7 days. There will be stabilization treatment up to 24 hours for non-life-threatening cases and 48 hours for life-threatening cases. So this is the stabilization treatment, my dear friends, right? लोगों को stabilize रखना है. अगर life threatening case है 48 hours तक हमें stabilize करना है person को, right? Stabilize रखना है. Police authentication on an integrated digital system. It will be required within 24 hours in the case of non-life threatening cases and 48 hours in case of life threatening cases. Clear everyone now how the funding will be taken place. So in insured cases, payment will be done through the GIC, General Insurance Company. In the case of uninsured and hit and run cases, payment will be made through budgetary allocation. And the claims will be approved by the state health agency, will be paid within the 10 days. That's all. Let's try to answer the question. Ministry of Road Transport and Highways launched the PM Rahat scheme. What exactly the Rahat stands for? Please quickly tell me in the comment section. I'm waiting for your responses. Please tell me what exactly Rahat stands for. So, my dear future officers, Rahat stands for Road Accident Victim Hospitalization and Assured Treatment. Absolutely, this is the right answer. Now, the scheme is integrated with the Emergency Response Support System 112 helpline for quick ambulance support and hospital access. It is implemented through the integration of EDAR platform, the electronic detailed accident report of the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways and the transaction management system of the dash. What is the right answer? The transaction management system of dash. Please tell me here. National Health Authority. Well done. So every eligible road accident victim on any category of the road is entitled to cashless treatment up to dash per victim for 7 days. What is the amount? 1.5 lakh per victim for 7 days. The stabilization treatment will be provided for the non-life threatening cases for how many hours? 24 hours. And for the life threatening cases for 48 hours. The police authentication on an integrated digital system is required within how many hours in the case of non-life threatening cases? 24 hours. And 48 hours in case of life threatening cases. Clear? A grievance redressal officer has been nominated by which committee? By the District Road Safety Committee. And this officer will be addressing the grievances at the district level. Now, my dear friends, the funding part is very important, payment and claim. In the uninsured cases, the payment will be drawn from contribution made by general insurance companies. And in the case of uninsured and hit and run cases, it will be allocation by the government of India, budgetary allocation by the government of India. Then the claims approved by the state health disease will be paid within how many days? This will be done within, let me see who will give me the right answer. This will be done within how many days? This will be done within 10 days. Absolutely right. So well done, my dear friends. We are done with this part. I hope that this is quite easy for all of you to retain the examination point of view, all this information. Now let's move on to the next news article, that is the 1 lakh crore urban challenge fund. So my dear future RBI officers, you all know that the 1 lakh crore urban challenge fund we have already covered in the month of April, right? So we have already covered this in the month of April, so there is no requirement of repeating it again. But please ensure that you are revising this scheme again. Right? You will be revising this scheme. And now let's move on to the next part. That is the RBI notifications. So now we are moving on to the last article of the today's session, that is of the RBI notification, that is RBI Digital Payment Index for September 2025. So my dear friends, RBI Digital Payment Index, this is a very, very important index from exam point of view. In the various previous year examinations, we have seen the question being asked from this index. So RBI basically published this composite Reserve Bank of India Digital Payment Index since January 1, 2021. So 1st January 2021 से RBI is basically publishing the composite RBI Digital Payment Index with March 2018 as the base year, right? So what is the base for this index? That is the March 2018. It captures the extent of digitization of the payments across the country. When it comes to the RBI Digital Payment Index, January 1, 2021, it is having the base of March 2018 as the base, right? And it captures the extent of digitization of payments across the country. So, my dear friends, we have to ensure that at what level the penetration of the digital payments in our country is there, to how much level we are having the digital payments taking place in our country. We need to understand it so that we can make the required policy interventions to ensure more and more digital payments in our country, right? So the RBI DPI comprises of five broad parameters which are enabling the measurement of the deepening and penetration of digital payments. तो कितना अंदर तक हम पहुंच चुके हैं दोस्तों in terms of the digital payments for the different time periods we need to understand that और ये help करता है हमें five parameters of the index. Let me tell you these five parameters are very important. Please note them down. One is the payment enabler having the weightage of 25%, payment infrastructure on the demand side which is having the weightage of 10%, payment infrastructure supply side which is having the weightage of 15%, and then we are having the payment performance which is having the weightage of 45%. The highest weightages of the payment performance, my dear friends. Let me tell you, even in the examination, we see that the question has been asked across these lines that which parameter is having the maximum weightage under the digital payment index, that is the payment performance 45%. And then the consumer centered is having 5%, right? So please remember payment enabler, payment infrastructure demand side, payment infrastructure supply side, payment performance, and the consumer centricity. Now let's try to see what are the sub parameters in these five parameters. Let me tell you guys, in the examination we have also seen the sub parameters as well. So please ensure to remember this part as well. So the payment enabler includes internet, guys. See, if you are not having the internet, you won't be able to do the digital payment, right? Let's take an example. You are going to the nearby Kiryana store and you want to, purchase the milk for having a product tea at your home after this particular session. But you are not having the internet in your mobile. You won't be able to have that particular digital payment. You won't be able to carry out that particular digital payment successfully, right? Now let's take an example of the second scenario when you are not even having the mobile. Then again it won't happen. Then Aadhaar, my dear friends, Aadhaar is very important because now we have connected the mobile with the Aadhaar cards and all the bank accounts are connected with the Aadhaar cards also. Then बैंक अकाउंट्स पार्टिसिपेंट्स एंड द मर्चेंट्स अगर हमारा मर्चेंट ही डिजिटल पेमेंट को सपोर्ट नहीं करता तो अगेन यू वोंट बी एबल टू डू दैट अगर बैंक अकाउंट ही नहीं है आपके पास तो आप नहीं कर पाओगे राइट so basically payment enabler is that particular first pillar which is having the weightage of 25% which enables the payment to take place clear for which we need mobile internet account Aadhaar card participants and the merchants. Now let's move on to the payment infrastructure demand side. अब demand side की क्या है दोस्तों? It includes the debit card, credit card, prepaid payment instrument कि कैसे करोगे? जब भी आप मान लो कि for example आप चैप्टर्स की वेबसाइट पे आए कुछ परचेज करने के लिए, there must be some mode. आपने आरबीआई का फॉर्म फिल किया, there must be some mode through which you can carry out the payment. तो वहां पर डिफरेंट ऑप्शंस है. आप डेबिट कार्ड से पे कर सकते हो, क्रेडिट कार्ड से कर सकते हो, किसी प्रीपेड इंस्ट्रूमेंट से कर सकते हो. Then customers registered mobile and internet banking and the FASTag, they are also the part of the digital payments in our country. Because this comes under the mobility, right? We have covered so many times about the FASTags. So guys, these are the payment infrastructure demand side. कि अब डिमांड साइड से कि ये चीजें तो हमारे पास होनी चाहिए टू मेक द पेमेंट. देन कम द इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर सप्लाई साइड. अब सप्लाई साइड में क्या है दोस्तों, आपके पास बैंक ब्रांचेस होनी चाहिए. अगर बैंक ब्रांच ही नहीं होगी, अगर एटीएम ही नहीं होगा तो डेबिट कार्ड को क्या करेंगे आप? यू वोंट बी एबल टू विड्रॉ द कैश. अगर पॉइंट ऑफ सर्विस टर्मिनल से नहीं होंगे तो यू वोंट बी एबल टू मेक द payment when you are going next time for purchasing, your clothes in the mall, right? Then QR codes ही नहीं है तो कैसे आप पेमेंट करोगे? Intermediaries are not having this system. So that's why the payment infrastructure supply side is also very important. Let me tell you that there is a role of each and every parameter here. Payment infrastructure supply side includes bank branch, ATM, business correspondents, POS terminals, QR codes and intermediaries. नाउ कम्स द पेमेंट परफॉर्मेंस. अब परफॉर्मेंस कैसी हुई है? कितने यूनिक यूजर्स थे, कितना पेपर क्लियरेंस हुआ, करेंसी सर्कुलेशन में कितनी है, कैश विड्रॉल कितना हुआ, डिजिटल पेमेंट सिस्टम्स का वॉल्यूम कितना है, इसका वैल्यू कितना है. तो ये सारी चीजें दोस्तों लेट मी टेल यू हम कवर करेंगे आने वाले पेमेंट सिस्टम रिपोर्ट के सेशन के अंदर. So very soon we will be conducting the payment system report session, right? And we will be covering all these things there. So basically digital payment system का वॉल्यूम कितना है, कितने ट्रांजेक्शन थी, कितना वैल्यू है, तो कितनी वैल्यू की ट्रांजेक्शन थी. लेट्स टेक एन एग्जांपल, देयर वर 10 ट्रांजेक्शंस ऑफ रुपीस 10 ईच, तो टोटल वैल्यू वाज 100, total volume was 10, right? Then the how many unique users are there to ensure that whether we are basically enrolling the new users or not. Then paper ka clearing, then currency circulation, cash withdrawals. So all these things we will be seeing. Then comes the consumer centricity, my dear friends. It comes the awareness and education, decline, complaints, frauds, system downtime. So there are the consumer centricity parameter is also there. जहां पर सबसे पहले अवेयरनेस होना जरूरी है कि ओके दैट्स हाउ आई कैन मेक द पेमेंट, राइट? अगर मेरी कोई कंप्लेंट है, मान लो कि मैंने पेमेंट किया था, माय पेमेंट गॉट स्टक, so I will be complaining the RBI now कि why exactly this has happened. Please return back to my payment because I was not even able to purchase that particular product, right? Then the frauds are taking place. Then system downtime takes place, right? Let's take an example. You are paying the payment through the UPI and you see that the receiver's bank server is down. So that is the system downtime. You won't be able to pay through the UPI because the receiver bank is not having the active server right now. So the consumer centricity is also very important. Are you guys able to understand it? The 5 pillars, what are these? Please tell me in the comment section. Payment enabler, infrastructure demand side, infrastructure supply side, payment performance, and the consumer centricity. Now, which pillar is having the maximum weightage? It is the payment performance, that is 45%. Now let's move on to the numbers. On September 2025, index stands at 516.76 as against 493.22 in the March 2025. That means there is an improvement in the digital payment index of the India, right? The increase in the RBI index was driven by significant growth in the parameters with payment performance and the payment enabler across the country over the period. Let me tell you, this final point is also very important. This point is also very important. The complete article is important, my dear friends. Why? Because even we have seen in the previous year, the question was being asked that why there was a growth in the RBI index. The right answer was the growth in the parameters, which includes payment performance and payment enablers across the country over the period. Clear, future RBI officers? I hope that you guys are able to understand it. The value was 516.76. There was improvement in payment performance and payment enablers. Now let's try to answer the question. So what is the base for the digital payment index of RBI? That is March 2018. Absolutely right. Now what are the weightages of these? So 25% weightage was there for the payment enabler, 45% for payment performance. Consumer centricity is having the 5%, right? And 10 and 15 for these payment infrastructure and payment demand side and supply side. Now, what was the value in the September 2025? It was around 516, right? If I'm not wrong. Yes, it was 516.76. Absolutely right. And what are the parameters in which we have seen the growth? That is the payment performance and the payment enabler across the country over the period. My dear future officers, is this clear to everyone? I can see in the chat box, Shruti, Harshal, Pratyush, all of them have given me the right answer. Well done, everyone. Now with this, we are done with the another important week of the 10th to 14th of February 2026. Now, The phase one articles, this is your homework. You will be completing the phase one articles on your own, and you will be doing this only after you are done with the phase one articles of March, April, May. Clear, everyone? So, my dear friend, that was all from the today's session. Now there must be people who will be seeing that, sir, from where exactly we need to revise the PDF. So, the people who are new, for them, let me tell you guys that you can just go to the chapters website, go to the top right corner, there is a courses. Then here on the left side, you will see the filter by category. Then go to the package. From the package, you will see the current affairs packages there. From here, you will just go down, scroll it down. You will see that there is a current affairs chapter of February. And here you will see we have already provided you the document of the 10th to 14th of February here. And all the quizzes are also been uploaded. Right? So, my dear future RBI officers, that's all from the today's session. I believe that today's session was really useful and fruitful to all of you. And see, it's been around a 3 hours class. And if you really have something to tell us about the session, if you really like the session, you are having any uh, feedback for the session, you can definitely mention about that in the comment section. Okay. Now I will be meeting you in the next session. Till then, stay happy, stay healthy. Wish you all happy learning.